I like wood.
This isn't social media. This is Trump media.
I don't know. I'm not good with that.
What? Oh yeah, that's normal.
And I don't, I know some of these people, and I think they're quite frankly ridiculous.
Winston Churchill stood on the rooftops in London, very calm, making speeches. Winston Churchill. I think people saw that loud and clear.
Heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your... He can do things with his tongue you wouldn't believe it. Purge the anti-Semitism and pro-terrorism. What you doing? Our army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. The Burmese executives. So these Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese. But to me, Corona means Italy.
Beef jerky?
No, son, thank you very much. No, it gives me the wind, something terrible.
Oh.
Wildlife refuges. I mean, you look at this, you look at what we do with our wildlife. Once it was reluctantly aroused. It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused. Michigan gave us Motang. Michigan gave us Motang. Gave us Motown, gave us the Mustang.
Oh, come on now. Hit that like, everybody.
We're honored
Welcome.
to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Karen.
That's right.
Even outside, it's packed.
Hit that like. We're trying to raise our numbers per capita.
And when you say per capita, there's many per capitas. It's like per capita relative to what?
That's true. I hear it's different in Nicaragua.
A lot of very bad things are happening in Nicaragua.
Which is different than Dickford.
Did you hear that? Yeah, it's a Dickford. What's a Dickford? To pee with.
What do you say we cut the chit-chat? A-hole!
Medicine and medical and what we're doing.
How, in the name of Zeus's butthole, did you get out of your cell?
I do it because I have, a good memory, because I'm cognitively there.
All right. How we doing on numbers? Should I even bother to come in? I mean, I should wait. I should probably wait, like a wrestler or something like that. 3, I think we'll get, there we go. We cleared the 1K mark. Everybody hit the like if you could for me. Let people know we're here. Let them know we're live. Let them know we're around. Do it. Know it. Live it. Come on. There we are. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. Good to see you. Good afternoon. Quite the morning show. It didn't go as long as I thought I might ultimately because, whoo, buddy. Ooh, doggy. There's a lot of moving around and hit them up, move them out, rawhide in this situation. And hello, chat room. Let me say hi to the chat room. Good to see you guys. Look at you, good, lovely folks in there. How are you? Nice to see you. Bang. Stabbing the like button like Wolverine. I think it's fantastic. That's right. Also, by the way, in select cities, Spider-Man 2 is playing this week through Thursday, I hear. So if you run into me at a theater, that's where I'll be. Going, hey, that's me. And for a minute. Me and I'll probably be sitting next to Bruce Campbell. That's right. But in the interim, regardless, hello. Yeah, there we go. There you go. Hi, what's happening? Excellent. And then, of course, I'm working on a special something that shall come very soon. I'm just giving people a heads up. Yes, the Bruce Campbell. Bruce has always been under the impression that Spider-Man has a lot of villains against him, but we're the only two guys that have ever given him shit. That's a direct quote. So, yeah. I love Bruce too. He's a lovely dude and super talented, and we both worked with Sharon Gless, so we're closer than Kevin Bacon could make us. Something like that. Yeah, Bruce is a very funny dude, and annoyingly handsome, as you go. So, did that actually happen? That's funny. Yeah, there we go. I'm trying to look at. I don't even know that we looked at this one. I don't think it's hard to tell. Hold on. Maybe we'll see. There's so much to cover. There's so much. Oh god. The stupid, it just never stops. It's just an overflowing good time of sorry, no go, okay, good on Instagram. Everything's good. Thank you. All's well. We're fine. Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. There's YouTube. What's happening? Remember, Super Chat's a great way to support the show. Patreon.com/HalSparks. You can now join for the year. And of course, if you're on Twitch, think about subscribing. I mean, come on. If you have Amazon Prime, it doesn't cost you a dime. You have to redo it, though, because unlike YouTube, I think, like memberships, you have to re-up it every month, which is fine, because I think it goes with the fact that there's a lot of kids on Twitch, and parents would like to know where, if their kid is subscribing to some dickhead like Hamas Abi and go, what the fuck, where'd this money go? And then it's already gone. So, at least parents can check in once a month to see what the heck they might have, been doing. So, it's kind of good. Denver, very excited. June 22nd. Oh, it's going to be fun. And the day after the June the Denver show, just saying there's going to be a Nerd Halen show the next night at HQ in Denver. Just saying. Also, this Saturday, Philadelphia, Sexy Liberal, pass the word. Make sure everybody knows if you see me or John Fugelsang or Frangela or Stephanie Miller posted about it. Help us out. Give us a boost. Let people know. Gonna be a good time. I insist. Been working on my set already. I feel bad front loading jokes because this whole week is going to be a fucking joke. You know what I mean? Like writing today, like by Wednesday, I'm just like, okay, well, fuck that. Start from scratch, because there's so much crazy shit. Like at some point, I'm going to end up, my only other choice would, I guess, do my show at like 3x speed. Just literally come out and just kind of like, almost like doing the joke like an auctioneer, never leave a moment for the thing, so I get all the jokes in, because it's a whole joke. It's a fucking joke. It's a joke. Yes, JoJo from Jers will be there. Very exciting. And I will be I will be running up the steps in a la Rocky. I will be visiting the Masonic Grand Lodge there, and I will also be hopefully having coffee with my friend Rob, who is in town, and I haven't seen him in a long time. Big hug, Rob. So, we've been friends as long as he's my longest friend in the business. Known him since I was 18 years old. So it's a nice thing. It's a nice thing. So anyways, hi, hello, welcome. Lots to cover. Hit that like, let people know we're there. Spread the word. Remind everybody while I'm yammering on about the shit that we're seeing today. Just, just remind everybody to hit the like and do all that kind of stuff and super chat and support the show, so I don't have to do it because I'm terrible at it. It's terrible. It's so terrible. Now, I'm curious I have to check something, because I think, honestly, there's going to be where's Trump coming out right after he go away Daily Report. Trump came out and said something after. Let me see if I can find that. I don't know if it's in our show notes today, just because he just did it not too long ago, or they just posted it a bit ago. We do have a statement from one of his lawyers as well, which we will get to. Oh boy. But in the meantime, let's see. Where are you? Where are you, crazy lady? Oh, dear God, that's frightening. Okay, so well, here I'll jump around. We'll get to this. So there's a lot of short bits today. Apparently, they put Alina Habba in the petting zoo, probably on orders from Dumpy Donald, who took a trip to Browntown again today, and stank up the joint while falling asleep. He was falling asleep during the reading of sort of the rules about his testimony. Now, this is not the court where the fraud. It's the building, but it's not the. Maybe that's why she was there. She's in front of the room he was in for his trial today, but I think she was upstairs arguing this thing about King Salami or whatever, the company that bonded him and yada yada, that failed, and then whatever. And then they worked it out that they're going to keep this money, this $175 million. It's got to be kept in an account monitored by the court. And it took them about 20 minutes to work this out, because basically they walked into court and they said, we don't have it. And the judge said, okay, tell you what, we're going to take a recess, go work it out, figure out a way to have this money in an account where we can keep track of it. I'm not going to have it float around and this bond is bullshit. So you got to have the money in an account someplace, and it's got to stay there or you're all fucked. And surprise, 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 it took them 20 fucking minutes. Now, I also, today, if I may, very exciting, I have a special report, which I'm very excited about. Hold on one second. Let's see. I go to home on here, and then projects. Yes, here we go. Now, I feel like I should do this before the start. Yeah, I'm gonna do this before, like if I will. So work with me on this, kids. This will be. I got to present, and then presenter view. I think, and no, and present. No, quit it. How do you do it? Present. Okay. Don't want it full screen, you silly thing. Go back down here. Quit it. Okay. Presenter view. Present. There we go. All right. There we go. Yes, thank you. And get this out here. Now, this is a new thing I'm calling. This is a Hal Sparks special report. Let me see if this fits in here real quick. This is a new special report I call, What Are the Odds? I need a sound effect or something like that. Let's see. What are the odds? No, that's not. That should. What are the odds? Close. All right, I'll work on it. What are the odds? Now, this is, you might be familiar with, there are a lot of things that where it's just like, nobody really knows. Still a lot of this stuff about Trump. I'll give you an example. Let me introduce you to this guy, Anton Postolnikov. This guy's great. He donated $30,000 to DeSantis, and he's the guy who loaned Truth Social $8 million in 2021 when it was a fledgling company, and it was actually through the SPAC to buy shares, and he's been named in the court case against the two guys who were doing insider trading. And Anton Postolnikov also backs a company that sells chemically questionable dick pills. And the only thing nice about him I've been able to find is that he's his bank that he's associated with bankrolls a lot of like cam girls and porn stars and that kind of stuff, and their money, it's made their way. We have no problem with women who have choose to make their living that way. Have to trafficking, bad. Choose to knock yourself out. I don't think that's healthy. But point being is that somebody's got to process their payments, and apparently this bank does that thing. That is the least of their worries. Apparently it gets a lot of suspicious activity reports because of it, but I think that's more because the Andrew Tates of the world are involved in it. So anyways, just saying. So this guy just runs the banking part of that or whatever, allows payment processing like PayPal and that kind of stuff for these particular people. Now, if it turns out later there's other secondary sketchy stuff beyond that part of it, I reserve the right to go fuck this dude later on. But as you understand. Now, This guy, Anton Postolnikov. Now you're thinking, it sounds kind of Russian. Yeah, well, Russian entrepreneur, yes. Family links to the Kremlin. That's not weird. Okay. Now let me introduce you to another fellow. This is Alexander Smirnov. Of course, you guys know Alexander Smirnov, right? How do you not know Alexander Smirnov? He was the source of the FD 1023 against Joe Biden. He was indicted for lying about those things. If the Republicans hadn't insisted on this motherfucker being re-interviewed by the FBI, he'd have never been arrested. That's him being arrested in Las Vegas. And then he was re-arrested, and he's in jail now, awaiting trial. And he's been indicted for lying to the FBI, specifically about the bribe that was allegedly given, right? What's up with all the Russians? Well, I want you to remember that the name is, what are the odds? What are the odds? So why do you bring up these two guys in particular? Well, you know the guy who gave Donald Trump $8 million to help him keep the truth sinkhole alive while the SPAC thing was going through, and the two guys are being busted for insider trading. Okay. Well, let me introduce you to this right here. There you go. If I may, let me shrink this down a little bit so you can see a little better. Sorry. My graphics are so out of control. This guy, quit it, mouse, you silly thing. So, Alexander Smirnov, the guy who lied to the FBI about the 1023, right there. This guy is the uncle of this guy, Anton Postolnikov, who bailed out Trump sinkhole. Hey, you know what I mean? Like, it's like when you think about it that way, you're like, oh my God, what are the odds? And scene. So, yeah, just thought I'd bring you guys up to date on that particular little piece of intel. So the guy who backed the two guys who were engaged in insider trading and who are going to jail for knowing that the SPAC, the Digital World Acquisitions, was going to merge with Truth Sinkhole, that one. Those guys got their money and a bunch of seed money secondarily from this dude who just happens to be the nephew of the guy who made up the $10 million story about Joe Biden. And we wouldn't know this. We wouldn't know this if not for two important details. And I got to say, this is lovely. Two details, if I may. Number one, that if Donald Trump had not decided to try and go the route of getting money from the stock market by going public for the first time in his life. The issue with going public is there's a lot more open records in a public company than there is in a private company, because people who are investing in your company, especially who are buying stocks, sight unseen to some degree, have the right to know, as possible shareholders and shareholders themselves, the details of the company. And so therefore you have to put them out there, which in the case of his private family company, he never fucking did and was able to hide a bunch of shit. The second one being, of course, that if Grassley and Comer and Jim Jordan and Matt Gaetz and Marge Greene, who was the biggest pusher of this, had just left well enough alone and had not asked to see the FD 1023, insist on it being litigated, making sure, why did the FBI not follow through on the FD 1023? You'll recall this was all last summer. They were just like, well, God damn it, why didn't they not take this seriously? Meanwhile, Chris Wray and all the Trump sucks that are threaded in the FBI that he put in while he was there, going, leave it alone, step away, this is not something you don't want to, nah, this just, leave it, nah, it's nothing, it's just, and they were like, no, we want to know. And so what happened? Well, the FBI went and re-interviewed this fuckwad. Not only did they realize that he had lied about his initial report, but he made up brand new lies right there. While they were checking it, he was like, oh, you know all those lies I told before? Yeah, check those. Just let me reiterate those. And I got some new intel about something that I saw happen between people that I had not met until years after the thing would have happened and didn't. Yeah. So the fact that they wanted this known, and the fact that Donald Trump went public, it's just, you know how they say sunlight is the best ointment. It's just good. Sunlight is nature's suppository, and in this particular case, it's just so nice that they did that. So there you go, a little piece of information. The guy who bailed out Trump's SPAC acquisition-y shit also happens to be the nephew of the guy who faked the FD 1023, and it's almost the same amount of money that guy was accusing Biden of getting. It's just, it's just so, all right. So now back to this lady. Now, apparently there's a lot of Real Housewives of the courthouse stuff going on between her and the hot chick that brings him his happy stories, and Melania. It's a cat fight, and it's this close from my sources. Yes, so not yet, but you'll let me know. Thank you. My sources inside the courthouse are telling me that it's this close to being that scene from Stripes with John Candy. You'll see what I mean. Anyways, if you don't know, you'll know later. Now, so here we go. This is Habba. Trump lawyer Habba. This is a joke.
Of a witch hunt. I just left where a judge asked us whether our cash bond, cash sitting in. Miss James wanted to argue and say that our cash somehow isn't green enough. We wasted time. Okay,
first of all, fuckwad, you claimed that you couldn't get a bond on the entirety of what you owe. If you have $175 million in cash to sit in an account, then why weren't you able to secure a bond for the full 450? That's well over the necessity, I guess 10 or 20% you would have to put down to secure that bond for the full amount. They gave you a break, and then your break wasn't good enough. And also, this idea that she's like, she has the chutzpah to say that our cash isn't green enough. Hey, fuckwad, you did not roll a platter of fucking cash into the courtroom and go, there it is. You just went, it's in an account. There, see this piece of paper that says it's in an account? And that you were lying before, so why would they take that piece of paper for as legit?
The judge made a comment saying he thought that money market accounts could go down under the amount. He doesn't even understand basic principles of finance, but this was the man that...
Yeah, I don't think that's what he meant. I think you misunderstood what he was saying. I can kind of tell just by how you're talking about it.
Decided that we owed money and my client committed fraud. We are going to attack every single one. 1 hour, the Attorney General and that judge realized quickly that they had no idea what they were talking about. We came to an agreement.
Why would you have to come to an agreement if they don't know? Wouldn't the agreement be, we agree that you didn't know what you were talking about and our money is fucking green? Agreed? Agreed. Why did you have to leave the room and come to an agreement? Oh, right. Because there was a big problem and you had to come up with a fix. She's loud. I'm sorry. So hold on. I'll bring the audio down a touch.
Everything would be the same. We would modify terms, and that was it. This is...
Modify what terms? What terms? The term wouldn't be that all 175 million would stay in an account and not be touched all through the appeal process. That it would that bond would have to be maintained in a cash account and never drop below that amount. That you can't just put it in the company's account and say the company's account will never drop below this point. No, you have to take that money and put it in its own separate account that people don't have checking access to or any of that other shit. You got to sequester that money away, which is what he's talking about, which is what she's trying to, either she's lying about or she's just stupid.
Where your taxpaying dollars are going, America, right here. Witch hunt after witch hunt.
Well, I got to say, they seem well spent because you know, the amount of money that he's allegedly spending on lawyers. Obviously he's not getting what he's, you get what you pay for in this case or whatever. This is the one situation where that does not seem to be the case. Depending on what he's actually paying for. I'm sorry, I'm not going there. I'm not going there anymore at all.
President Trump's company was worth more in that case than it is now. And now what? We're here because of something that happened when
Trump's company was worth more then than it is now. Well, I'm sure it's cash poor. Is that what you mean?
he was in the White House. That wasn't even wrong. It was not wrong. You hire lawyers to solve problems. Lawyers solve those problems. You pay them. That's it.
Okay. Now she's talking the other case. This is the trick here. Just overlap details and pretend they're the same thing. They're not. The fraud case is over here, and they had to go out and shuffle to make sure that money is sequestered so that he can't run off with it, or the other people could say, we don't actually have it right now, Your Honor, because we had to pay some bills and it's a little late and we thought this was going to happen a lot sooner and it's not our fault. He's the one who's guilty. Go get it out of him, right? That's one case. Now this is, I don't even think, has she been in the courtroom on this one? I haven't seen her in any of the drawings.
This is a joke. It's an affront to the American Constitution. It's an affront to our judicial system.
We only have one Constitution. I'm just saying.
And it's an affront to every lawyer that cares about their license, that cares about what is right and wrong.
Yeah, I guess they're all having a rough time. Yeah, just how do you even, like, hold on, sorry, I'll turn myself up a touch so that we'll parallel that. Yes? Yes, it's Jehovah. Let's see, go back up here, microphone. Uh-huh. Yes. Okay. Hopefully I'll make myself ever so slightly louder and bring her down a touch. There we go. Okay.
I am sick of coming in front of the press and saying this, but you have to, because you people need to understand what is going on. God forbid you put an accounting thing in for legal counsel.
Yeah, God forbid you put an accounting thing in for a legal counsel, right? What happens? I mean, obviously, we've all seen The Firm, and you would bill for those hours and you'd pay for those hours instead of just a direct one-to-one payment to payment, money out, money in for a payment to a porn star, a Playboy Playmate or something to cover up an affair that happened, or that happened with the other one while your wife was at home with your 5-month-old.
It's legal counsel. And now our taxpayer dollars, my time, our attorney's fees are all here because they're afraid of 2024. And
no, I think they're afraid that, and by the way, notice how she's like, our tax dollars. It's not Trump's tax dollars. That motherfucker managed to not pay taxes in New York ever.
You know what? They should be, because the American people are not stupid. They see what's going on. Thank you.
Sister, don't you forget it. You go, girl. Alina, where's Melania? Sorry, the guy's just yelling that out of habit. So that's, yeah, obviously a little tense. I mean, it's got to be rough when you step out of someplace and you're like, you're in this situation and you're like, I don't understand what's going on. Where they're effectively having a, we're like, I don't know that I have a loud noises. I should get that one as well. But I liked her statement.
Nice. Not thrilling, but nice.
Yeah. Now, if you think that's what panic looks like, I would like to introduce you to someone we haven't seen in a long time or heard from. I have not watched this, nor would I without you present. Ladies and gentlemen, where's Melania? There's Melania. Now, she looks like you just walked in on her while she was, and she realized, oh my God, my conversation was recorded. They know I'm trying to hire someone to kill someone. So, and just for the, yeah, just trying to make a point that, yeah. So, here we go. This is Melania weighing in on the Trump 2024.
America is a place where you can be anything you want.
Oh, thanks. Unless you're trans or you're a pregnant rape victim and you don't want to be pregnant anymore. Or I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Your opportunities are endless because our country provides so many chances.
I gotta say, no one's opportunities are endless for reasons of mortality, height, never mind.
To succeed. As First Lady
Also, excuse me, who's playing piano in the background?
of the United States, I know how much my husband loves the American people, and I know his passion in life.
Okay, so this is AI. This is an AI video. Is that what we're doing now?
Is to see all the citizens of this great country do well and prosper.
Is it do well or dwell?
Donald is the businessman who never worked in politics.
He's more like the current politician who was always a fake businessman.
The ultimate outsider, and that earned.
I mean, I'm just going to say, and I know this is a bit of a stretch, but the ultimate outsider wouldn't know Jeffrey Epstein personally, if only for the fact that Jeffrey Epstein was known to try to hobnob with the rich, the famous, and the powerful. So if you were the ultimate outsider, I would say, technically speaking, the ultimate outsider wouldn't know how to play golf at all. Just...
Many enemies in the political establishment.
Yeah, but in all fairness, his only real enemies are the people who worked with him and saw him up close, and smelled him up close, and watched how he mistreated people, mistreated the facts, feathered his nest with taxpayer monies to the tune of 400 years of presidential salary just to his own golf courses while he was president. That kind of stuff. But it's interesting how they all turn on him.
I was shocked to discover that some of these powerful people have tried to paint my husband as anti-gay or against equality.
Well, yeah. I don't know that you should be shocked. Here's the thing. I'm if you're gonna be shocked, I would say be shocked about what you're learning that he's done to women since. Never mind.
Nothing could be further from the truth.
Actually, there's a lot of things that are further from the truth than that. Yeti, for example. Bigfoot, totally real. Yeti, bullshit. Nothing can be further from the truth than that.
Donald loves helping people, and he loves seeing those around.
Donald loves helping gays, being the gay. And if he has a chance, sometimes he helps them so much, like, you're not doing gay right, and he shows them. And that's what gay rights are to me and him.
Around him and his country succeed. As the leader of the...
His country? What was that? What was that again? Whose country?
Donald loves helping people, and he loves seeing those around him and his country succeed. As the leader of the...
He loves seeing those around him and his country succeed. Am I chat room? Am I nitpicking on that one, or is that a tell? He loves seeing the people around him and his country succeed. Maybe that's why she's giving people the stink eye while she says this.
Republican Party, and President of the United States. Donald has been clear that gay...
Okay, first of all, I heard the piano part, but why is there like a 90s modem making a noise in the background?
And President of the United States. Donald has been clear that gays and lesbians will be treated as he has always treated them, equally.
Don't listen to gays and the gays people like gayish with your being gaying. Let me say that as a person who came to this country as a genius, if you are gaying, Donald will treat you just like every other American. Basically below him, as like he views everyone as being shitty second-class citizens next to him. And also, the difference with the gays is some may like being him peeing on them. This would be, and he wouldn't have to even tell them that there is raining.
Donald is the first president to enter the White House supporting gay marriage.
No. Not even close to true. And by the way, great work supporting it after it had already passed. Do you think he would have supported it if it hadn't already become the law? If it already hadn't gained, like, if this dumb motherfucker had run, like, and been a shitty, chubby Perot back in the day, and he'd managed, instead of George H.W. Bush, it was him for one. Do you think he would have come out in support of being gay, or do you, and we would have had don't ask, don't tell, and then we would have had open serve? Do you think that would have happened?
Donald is also the first president to appoint an openly gay official to his cabinet. The story...
He means Grinnell, I think, right? Richard Grinnell.
Story of America is one of trailblazers and fearless underdogs.
Technically speaking, being an underdog has a lot of fear involved, but you just kind of do it anyways. That's what kind of makes you an underdog. If you have no fear, you're just foolhardy at that point, or you wouldn't be the underdog.
Today, we see free thinkers.
Okay. Also, Janine, don't stare at me like that. You give me the bug eyes. Hey, Janine, sorry about the bug eyes thing. I'll be in my office.
And independent voices, like gay conservatives and log cabin Republicans, silenced, censored, and bullied by cancel culture mobs.
Such as? Who? Sorry, what log cabin Republicans are being? What does she mean? Milo Yiannopoulos? Who the fuck?
This is not the America any of us want to live in.
What? Hold on. The bullying of the log cabin Republicans, and like all incredulity aside, and like, holy fuck, how can you support this dickhead? That's not bullying. That's calling into question your reasoning, your ethics, your morals, or your ability to process information. But it's not like this. You do realize when they shit on them for supporting Trump, they're not shitting on them for being gay and supporting Trump, like gay first. That's the amazed and what the fuck's wrong with you part. But the part where you actually cross over into what difference does it make whether you're gay or straight? If you support Trump, you're a special kind of foolish. You're an absurd human being at this point. Maybe you could cry like ignorance back at 2015, but what the hell? Also, again, you know that like NVIDIA has that thing where you can read off to the side, but it'll make your eyes move forward and it'll keep your eyes fixated. Like, I feel like they're using that software.
America was founded
by the gay and freedom, and not the black and freedom gay.
On God-given rights of freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom of expression.
Right, but not freedom for gay marriage. We grew into that one, which, good for us.
We are a nation that celebrates and protects diversity.
Real quick. Which party is attacking DEI as a point, or woke culture because of its support for minorities and women and gay people? Which party? I mean, it's kind of a jump ball, I guess.
And we condemn those who bully and intimidate people.
Like your husband? Like your husband literally is in court bullying and intimidating people all day, every day. What? Truth Sinkhole is a bully and intimidation site.
We do not want to live in a place without freedom.
Okay, cool. See, look at that. Broken clock moment. Congrats.
Where everyone is forced to think alike.
How would you go about doing that? I think what you're going with is forced to act like we think alike, because I think if we've learned anything from Brazil, or not the country, the movie, or 1984 and the overuse of that particular piece of literature in modern parlance, if we've learned anything from that, it's that thought police don't work, because you can only tell what someone's thinking when thought leaves their head.
My husband sees the promise of our country and all her citizens moving onward as we recover from many challenges.
Like his presidency?
Even if you don't agree with my husband about everything.
I honest to God, I'm loath to find something I agree with him on. Except for, like, technically speaking, his feelings about auctioneers.
He can do things with his tongue you wouldn't believe it.
I mean, I'm not willing to check, but okay.
You have the right to say it. That is the American way.
No, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater, and you were just telling us how bad bullying is, so you're basically making the case that you have the right to bully someone, but you don't have the right to cancel them or push back because you're being bullied. Unless you're a Republican. I don't know what the fuck this is.
That's protected. I'm for.
Oh, God. You can't quit it. Don't fucking lurch forward after. That's not right. You can't do a soft, like a dolly zoom. Jesus Christ. Like a fucking thought that was like Jaws.
First Lady Melania Trump. I support the log cabin Republicans.
The lock cabin Republicans. She's got an accent. It's fine. She supports the log cabin Republicans. So my husband doesn't have to.
And I am unapologetically outspoken. God bless you all.
Okay. Unapologetically outspoken. Cool. I got news for you. Lots of people feel that way. And here's the thing. I support the log cabin Republicans too. I don't agree with them. I think they're deluded and weird, but it certainly has nothing to do with their sexuality. I mean, there's an irony to their sexuality and their political ideas lining up, but that's not what I fault them for. I fault them for the same failure of logic, reason, or ethics that I would any other human being, because it doesn't make that distinction to me, except when it creates a stark relief in this case, around just how you have to say this. But Trump, and by the way, why is she doing this? I guess that's the clear part. Why is she doing this? Because of Trump and all of his friends dunking on the Transgender Day of Visibility. That's why. Remember that? They made Easter trans holiday. It's terrible. Remember all that stuff? Look at the timeline. Who's going to clean this mess up? Melania. So she comes in and she does this video and she shows up at this log cabin Republicans thing, and that's what's for. That's what it is. That's what this is. This is a lame, third tier, no offense, attempt to get her to help clean up one of his messes, and at the same time bolster her support so that, I don't know, maybe she'll have a licensing fee from the drag queens that are going to play her at some point.
and God bless our beautiful nation.
I really feel like I learned so much about her and me in that moment, chat room. Yeah. Now, I think that's what that is. I think what we're seeing there is cleanup on aisle 69. That there was literally a point where they were like, "Oh fuck, everybody is shitting on this Easter transgender day of visibility thing." And so, Melania, you don't care. Go out there and do this so the boss doesn't have to say nice things to the gay people. Again, she's not the fucking candidate. And the fact that they're not sitting together, that she did this by herself. She said she's proudly outspoken without him in the shot or around. There's not even a fucking picture of him in the background. They're not doing, she didn't do that from their fucking room where this is our den or where we hang out as a family or the living room and here's a picture of us married and blah, blah, blah. No. Just a fucking stark TV level background and her running interference for him. That's what that is. Just to be clear. Agreed? Chat room, does that seem reasonable as an assertion? Because I stand by that. That's what that is. The timing of it, the root of it, that's what we're talking about. And it shouldn't be a surprise, but it's also like, meanwhile, where's he? He's in the other side of the building, in theory, doing this shit. Now, I don't remember if we already covered this one, so I'll listen to it real quick. But
our nation is right now crossing a very dangerous threshold in the middle of a presidential election, right smack in the middle.
Right in the middle. It could be a little left, a little bit. Yeah, we did this before. So he's in the building. He could have sat with her, holding her hand while she says a bunch of nice things to the gays, and he nods approvingly, and I guess at some point, in true Rudy fashion, farts on her. But at no point, I mean, he wouldn't it be nice if, let's see, where is this? You went in here. Where are you? Quit it. Where'd she go? Oh, that's Habba. Hold on. There she go. Yeah, this is it. That at some point, like during her thing, he could have just popped in.
Here I am like an idiot.
You know what I mean? And then just like, now that explains the look on her face though. But at the very least, he could have participated in this. I don't know, gay folks, thoughts, feelings, any rags, any bones, any rags today? I got to tell you, sending the wife out to do it, that's one thing if they're shoring it up. She wants to be more specific than you can be in a campaign. She got time to do that. Totally cool. Right on. But the total lack of presence in this, there's not a single fucking video on their channel that's like, I'm Donald Trump. And gay is okay. I don't want to do it. It scares the living shit out of me. But, I mean, very few things keep it in. But, gay, just gay it away. Gay for, they say, like, pray the gay away. I say, no. Pray for more gay. That's how I feel about it. And if you don't like it, check with me next week, because I will totally change my mind depending on if some evangelicals freak out at me. That's what this is. Also, I guess it would give her an off-ramp if she wanted to get a divorce. You know what I mean? Get everybody to freak the fuck out. And let's see. Trump remarks on leaving. Give me 1 second. I'll do this. Hold on real quick. Today. There he goes. Trump leaves entered courtroom between opening statements. Okay, yeah, here it is. This is him. I haven't watched this, so this is him. This is Trump leaving the courthouse today, entering into the poop pen.
I think it went very well.
Why?
So you heard that yourself. This is
Heard what?
a case that nobody wanted to bring, including Alvin Bragg.
Also, what are you talking about? No one can hear your internal monologue, you fucking cretin. What are you talking? Like, so you heard that, or did I dream it? I fell asleep and I had sleepy by Bo's time, and you may have heard my thoughts, maybe not.
It was just at the last minute they decided to do it. It's a case that, if you're looking back, it goes back many, many years, 2015, maybe before that. And
okay, what do you mean maybe before that, motherfucker? Let me tell you something. It's you can tell when it started because your kid was 5 months old. That's a good timing on when this thing started. Just start there. He's 18 now. This shit started 17 years ago and change. And then you paid off people as you got into the election. Time passed. So it wasn't to save your relationship because years passed between when it happened and when it was in the tabloids possibly, or it could have gotten out, and then you decided to run for president, started shutting shit down, and that's why you planned this in August of the year before the election.
it's a case as to bookkeeping, which is a very minor thing in terms of the law, in terms of all the violent crime that's going on outside as we speak, right outside as we speak. This is a case where you pay a lawyer. He's a lawyer, and they call it a legal expense. That's
also why are they? What's with the montage, Associated Press? Just show the fucking dummy.
the exact term they used. Legal expense.
Sorry, that's the exact term. Is the legal?
A legal expense. That's the exact term they used. Legal expense.
Yeah, and it wasn't. It was a payoff. You were paying him back for paying someone off.
In the books. This is what I got indicted over. Think of it. I got indicted.
Yeah, we know. For hiding what are campaign contributions in kind to your campaign by yourself, paying your lawyer to pay off women, to hide this from the campaign, which is, a federal crime. And you do not have to wait in the state for the feds to charge somebody if they commit another crime in your state in the furtherance of that. You don't have to wait around. As a matter of fact, you can help bolster their case. You bust them for, hiding a body. It's a lot easier for the feds to make the case that you killed the person.
Leading candidate.
Yes, he reimbursed. Thank you. He reimbursed Michael Cohen.
Beating Biden and beating the Republicans now. I have the nomination.
I'm beating everyone except not.
And this is what they try and take me off the trail for.
No, they're succeeding, apparently. It's amazing to me. I think we're all astounded, that Biden, he can't put two sentences together, can't even find his way off a stage. He's so confused. He's terrible and weak and stuff like that. And yet he controls the courts, the tech industry, the media, the pharmaceutical companies, the military industrial complex, the intelligence committee, and all of your former White House cabinet members, half of your ex-attorneys, and all the DAs in the country. He's got total control of them, even though, this guy, he couldn't even come out of his basement during the pandemic when we were all at home in our basement. And it wasn't really a basement because it opens up at ground level, but that's another, because you can see sunlight through the doors, and that's another conversation for another time. But I completely understand. I'm shocked, just like you are, that somebody that weak and stupid and easily confused can kick your ass. It must be a huge ego problem.
That check's being paid to a lawyer. He is a lawyer.
Yeah, not yours, not anymore. And that's not what he was doing at the time. This wasn't a litigation.
Or was a lawyer.
Not in this case. Again, he was a, what's the word? Bag man.
And also the things he got in trouble for
were related to you?
Things that had nothing to do with me. He got in trouble. He went to jail. This had nothing to do with me. This is a
What the fuck is with the editing? AP, play his whole fucking statement. This is weird. Hold on one second. I don't like watching this asshole. I do it for work, but for fuck's sake. There you go. I'm going to find another variation on it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we'll find it. First 7 jurors, the second. Okay, that's the second day. Yeah, it's weird. Okay. Trump leaves Andrews' courtroom between opening statements. This is 6 hours ago. This is him coming and going. There's Habba, these folks running everybody around. Because they're doing court upstairs. Yeah. Somebody just went, fuck. Yeah, and he did his left fist today. I don't even want to read too much into it, but I find it fascinating that was a big talking point from a bunch of these folks. That, oh my God, he raised his fist. I've never seen anything like that. That was from a couple like, I got to tell you, it was a little pitiful, kind of halfway there. And again, it looks like he gave somebody a hand job and they were jerking off on his cheek as he left the courtroom. It's very peculiar. I don't know why he thinks that's special in any way. It's super odd. Thanks, Andrea, for that clip as well. So we'll get to that in a second. I'll find that or whatever. But you get the point. Like, oh wait, here it is. Is this it? This might be the whole thing.
All right, thank you very much. I just want to say before we begin, these are all Biden trials.
Okay, now that's the earlier one. He didn't post the second one because he's scared, and he's embarrassed, which is fun. It's a good time. Now we'll jump right in because I want to cover some other folks while this is already happening. He's already had a stroke on the right. Yeah, this is that's right. So we've heard a lot of from Marjorie. Well, let's look at Marjorie Taylor Greene if we could, talking to Maria Bartiromo in this particular thing, which we do, and we will get to Salcido in just a moment. But obviously, apoplexia has taken over the Republican Party, especially the maggot wing. And Maria has got Marge on, and apparently kind of brings up the criticism that others have had towards her, where they're, I'm ballparking here, but they're sick of her performative bullshit and wasting everybody's time. No, that's a direct quote. Sorry, that's a direct quote. This is Mike Johnson, who, again, looks CGI, which is fine. He looks like a character that turns out to be a robot and breaks down in the heavy metal cartoon. But so here we go. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. I could care less about criticism. Oh, and this.
We passed our comprehensive border security package, HR 2, at the very beginning of this Congress. It's been sitting on Chuck Schumer's desk. We passed all the resolutions. We passed these acts out of the House, and they get stopped in the Senate.
No, they have to pass the Senate. It's not that they just get stopped in the Senate. You have to have the votes. We ran into the same shit.
And that was the Speaker of the House, Louisiana Congressman Mike Johnson, with me here last weekend, referring to Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene's threat to file a motion to vacate the Speaker's chair after the Republican-led House passed a $1.2 trillion spending bill last month with still no new security at the southern border. And
yeah, but that's because they tried to pass a separate bill and Republicans didn't vote for it. They shot it down.
And yesterday passed an additional $95 billion in new foreign aid, $60 billion of which is going to Ukraine. Since then, 2 other congressmen have joined Taylor Greene's effort to vacate the chair.
Yeah, she's really stacking winners over there. That's Massey and Gosar. For those of you who don't know, this guy supported ousting McCarthy and now supports Johnson, or did up until this point. And so he's all over the fucking map. They were calling him a rhino 3 weeks ago. And Gosar is obviously the guy who takes Pervitin. He's the Republican from the great state of Pervitin.
Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie and Arizona Congressman Paul Gosar.
Yes. You know, the big thinkers in the House.
Saying that Speaker Johnson surrendered House Republican leverage to secure the...
You don't have any leverage. You don't have any leverage. You don't have any leverage. You have a 1-vote majority. You don't have leverage. What you mean is he did not bend to their leverage in their party. And what they realize is that they don't have leverage in their party anymore. That's what this is about. The House, Republicans, for all their problems, have decided, after a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth and wandering in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights or some shit, or 50 years or what have you, however, a year and a half, 2 years, they have decided, fuck this psycho and her friends, and we're not going to let them use the fact that we have such a small majority to put us in the minority, because that's what's happening. And by the way, that's what happened in the case of Trump getting in office with the faux-gressives on our side. If we don't get everything, nobody gets anything, and therefore, all the voters in their area, say leverage again. I will try. Right? They don't fucking have leverage. They don't have any fucking leverage. What are you going to leverage? Huh? What kind of seesaw you got where there's one more person on your side? Oh, that's a real fun day on the fucking playground. Say leverage again, you dumb motherfucker. Say leverage again.
Border by tying urgent aid to Israel to Ukraine. But the Congresswoman did not ultimately file the motion after the vote yesterday. Joining me now with the very latest is the woman herself in this Sunday Morning Futures exclusive.
Citation needed.
House Oversight Committee member, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Congresswoman, thanks very much for being here.
Thanks for being here in your lonely, faux patriotic house where you have wrecked your home so that you could knock boots with a bizarrely Magoo-faced host from RSBN. And thanks for leaving the doors open so it has a chance to air out.
I want to give you the opportunity to respond to critics. First off, yesterday, we saw the bills pass, and you did not file the motion to vacate. Why not?
Let's see. Why not? Why not? Why would you not? Why? Oh, because you didn't have the votes?
That's right, Maria. I've been responsible with this the entire time.
Yeah, I'm so responsible. What I'm going to do is wait till all the stuff I have no ability to stop, wait till it passes, and then punish people for doing what I know they had to do to get anything done, which is what I hate.
Support our majority, and I support having the majority in 2025.
Do you now? Majority, huh? Majority. Hey, Marge. You trying to put the Marge back in majority? See what I did there? Fuck you. That was kind of interesting. No. No. You're done. You're personally guaranteeing they're going to lose. Who the fuck would vote for this nonsense? Why? I mean, honestly, do you have a purge caucus?
But I'm a representative of the people, Maria. And
half the people in your district.
And I do not represent Washington, D.C.
No, you represent your district in Washington, D.C., stupid. If you're so like down home and local, stay the fuck home and run for like state senate.
New York Times, any of these media companies and other Republican colleagues of mine that are criticizing me, even the speaker himself. Most of those people have lost their way and they aren't listening to the American people.
Look, just because you're an American doesn't mean you're the American.
The people are fed up.
No, they're really not. I take it back. Yes, you're right. They are. The people are definitely fed up with you. And that's why the vote passed, but with broad fucking support.
Monday was tax day, April 15th. And Washington betrayed the American people by sending $93 billion to support foreign wars while doing nothing.
It's interesting that foreign wars. Okay, first of all, in no case are they supporting, quote, foreign wars. Again, self-defense is not war. Say what you will about another conversation about Netanyahu and his actions or what have you, but Iron Dome support and food for Palestinians is not supporting the war there. And supporting Ukraine and not allowing Russia to run roughshod over the whole fucking country and wipe them out, as they said the entire point is not spending money on foreign wars.
Nothing, absolutely.
And also Taiwan, what the fuck are you talking about? A, they haven't been attacked, and they're less likely to be attacked if they have proper funding.
Nothing to secure our border. That is a
you voted against it.
Complete betrayal. And then once this bill was passed, the American people saw on their television screens and social media all over where Congress was waving the Ukrainian flag.
Right, in support. I'm confused. Never have I seen you walk around going, look, I support Israel too, but you cannot wear that pin on this floor. Did you do that? Did I miss that video?
On the United States House of Representative floor. All of this was possible.
By the way, if only you were this upset at the dude walking around with the Confederate flag in the Capitol.
Because of the...
But he's a hero and a hostage.
Betrayals of Mike Johnson, Maria. He has completely betrayed the Republican Party. He is completely...
Well, if he's completely betrayed the Republican Party, then why did over half of you guys vote for the passage of the bill? Just saying.
Betrayed Republican voters all over the country, and he is absolutely working for the Democrats, passing the Biden administration's agenda. So...
Well, I again, and the agenda of over half of your party. Now, I know that in the case of Ukraine funding, a bunch of them kind of sat it out, and there was more on your side voting against it than voted for it, but not because they were against it, just because they knew they could. It was puffery. It was performative.
This is a speakership that is completely over with. It's only Mike Johnson is the one that's trying to hang on to it and is in complete denial.
Well,
then again, why didn't you put the fucking motion on the floor then? If it's this bad, you didn't say, there are people in this party that are very upset, and a majority of us would rather blah, 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 within our own car. No. You said complete betrayal. So why, in the face of complete betrayal, are you not filing your fucking motion to vacate then? It's a complete betrayal.
Look, you just heard the speaker with me last week saying she doesn't, she's missing the fact that we already passed H.R. 2. But I think, some of...
Yeah, but that was dead on arrival, and all you guys voted against the other bill that would have passed.
The criticism...
Just for, I don't know why, for spite? For Trump?
Is because even... And by the way, you're getting criticized on the left, on the right.
No, for the record, we're not criticizing her. We think she's ridiculous. She's not worth criticizing. As a matter of fact, me doing this clip is more about you humoring this dickhead.
In the media, everybody, a lot of people are...
It's weird, Marge. It's like the whole world thinks you're a fucking moron. How do you respond to that? That everybody is like, wow, what a piece of shit. Good Lord, you're dumb. Like you walk down the street, and I've been walking with you, and oh my God, like people just hate your guts. How does that feel, knowing that it's based on your personality and your actions, stuff you can't change overnight? It's got to be exhausting. And,
criticizing you. And the reason that they are is because they're saying that you're creating drama during this election year. How is this leading to re-electing President Trump? How is this leading to the American people?
Oh, it's not. Let me save you that right now. It's not. It's not. It does not end in him getting reelected. She and some of her maggot colleagues have created this farce, this Illuminati conspiratorial bullshit so big that if they back down from it, they look completely weak. And her support for McCarthy put her up against the wall. So she's trying to like QAnon her way out of it now. And of course, Russian money.
Believing that the Republicans can govern. People are saying, look, she's creating chaos. She's making the entire party look like it's disrupted.
No, it is disrupted. She's making the entire party look stupid. Stupid's the word. Stupid. You look stupid. She's very stupid. You're stupid. She's stupid. They're all stupid. For putting up with her and letting her define these things. The people who join her are stupid. The people who put up with her are stupid. They're just stupid. Not disrupted. Stupid.
Your reaction and response to those criticisms?
Yeah, those that are calling this drama are the very people that are responsible for the drama that the American people are having to live through every single day.
No, they aren't. You are. This is unnecessary bullshit. Do you know how wonderfully boring politics, domestic politics could be right now? Do you have any idea?
Those on the left, those on the right, the uniparty that's in control of our government are the ones that have inflicted the
excuse me, the uniparty will forever be referred to as the taint party from now on because it taint a party. And I'm just saying that for the record. I'm sick of this uniparty nonsense. You stop trying to blame your Republican failure on Democrats. Just because Democrats are unified and some of your guys join us sometimes doesn't make a uniparty out of it. You don't get to shovel off people you don't like in your fucking party that vote against us 89% of the fucking time because they don't vote 99% with you.
American people with nearly $35 trillion in debt rip their border wide open and refuse. Speaker Johnson refuses to use.
Well, in Biden's defense, they didn't rip the border wide open. Obviously, it's the building of the wall created an access route on the Mexican side that, used to be difficult to traverse, and now you can roll a suitcase down it to the edge of the wall, which ends at either public lands or Indian land, and they can just walk right around it. Before, they used to just have fencing, but it was also a lot of difficult terrain, so you couldn't bring, families and older people through there because it was just physically too difficult, and where it ended up, it was just, difficult terrain on the other side of it. Now, they built this kind of access wall, just flattened the ground so they could build a wall, and now you can just kind of jog the whole fucking thing. People in their 70s can walk to the end of the fucking wall and go right around it because you can't build a wall on private land or Indian land. So again, notice how the border was better before the wall.
His power as Speaker of the House to do any type of negotiating to secure the southern border. And
they did negotiate. They literally negotiated. You couldn't pass your bill, so they negotiated a stronger version of a bill that was sitting around that had been bipartisan for a long time, added a bunch of your priorities, and you guys scuttled it because it was an all or nothing approach. Good luck working on TYT.
Stop the madness in our country. The people criticizing me are not the American people.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm American. My viewers are American. Most of my followers on Twitter are American and the like, and we all think you're a fucking putz.
The American people agree with me, and I've
No, they don't.
talked to them, and I've seen.
No, you have not. Have you ever seen a more prime example of fucking audience capture or a cul-de-sac mentality in your life?
It all over. They are outraged, and what
No, we're outraged at your waste of fucking time.
they're saying is they don't want to vote for Republicans anymore because in their eyes.
Yeah. This is back to the Spinal Tap line. They were still booing him when we came on. So people are coming up and saying they're not going to vote Republican to you, a Republican, anymore. Why, are they trying to talk you into running independent in your district?
Their opinion and how they feel and how they're treated. The Republican Party in charge right now is no different than the Democrat Party.
Yeah, it is. It's very different. Because we get shit done. Those bills that you're talking about were drafted largely because of the actions of Democrats who put them together. We govern and we negotiate in good faith. Very different.
It's one big uniparty that serves the world first and America last.
We are in the world. I don't know. I don't know if you've heard the song, but we are indeed the world. We are all. We're you know. It's a choice we're making. We're living our own lives. It's true. We'll make a better day, you and me.
So I really could care less about their criticism. They didn't send me to Washington.
Well, neither did the people who voted against you in your district.
I do not work for them as a matter.
Yeah, we know. But you only represent one district. Win statewide or nationally, and then come back and talk to us about how fucking popular you are with the American people.
Matter of fact, I came to Washington because I myself, as a regular American,
wanted to make sure that the lizard people didn't drink baby milkshakes made of adrenochrome, as I knew they were doing. And after all of my hard work, I helped Donald Trump free the children that were kept as prisoners in the adrenochrome factory under the White House that weren't there before he showed up. Wait. Oh my God. I've been working for the wrong side. I'm kidding.
Was fed up with the uniparty as well. So you want to know something? I don't apologize for standing firm in my belief and my...
You didn't stand firm. You're a stubborn, failed bully. This isn't firm. If you were standing firm, you'd vote against all the aid all the time. You wouldn't have voted for military spending before you lost the majority.
Faith and my absolute allegiance to the United States of America.
Methinks milady doth protest too much. So definitely not Russian money backed. Definitely not weird loans we're going to find. Definitely not NRA money that came in during that cycle when you got elected. Definitely not. No. I love America. Yeah, totally for America.
As a matter of fact, I am cemented in this, and I will fight harder for our country. The Republican Party is the party that needs to change, and they need to start reflecting the will of their voters. And
excuse me, dum-dum. Point of order. Apparently that's how Trump gets her attention. She's like, Mr. Trump, like whenever she hears that. So hopefully this will help. You were in the Freedom Caucus, which is a small group within the Republican Party, nowhere near the dominant part of the party, and you had control over some committees, and because of the one vote, if you did need one vote to eject the speaker, then you would have still been able to do it if you had a plurality of people within your party that agreed that it was a good idea to start with. Let's just start there. Secondarily, she got kicked out of the Freedom Caucus. Not only is she not like representative of the greater, party as a whole, she got kicked out of the fucking Freedom Caucus. What the fuck do you have to do? At this point, I almost believe she turned down some Russian money, because I think that's the only thing that could get you up until then. She called Boebert a little bitch on the floor of the House. That's what got her kicked out. I'm sick of this, her coming on like she was elected the fucking president when she can't even stay a member of the Freedom Caucus. It's like, at what point is she in the majority anywhere, even in her own fucking party?
Actually do the job instead of just running their mouth constantly every single...
Oh my God. Pot calling kettle, line 2.
...campaign cycle.
I guess what I'm saying is...
what I'm saying is everyone thinks you're a fucking loudmouth bitch. And I have that trophy, and I'm afraid that you're going to...
How does this help keeping a majority?
Oh, it doesn't. That's why I'm for it.
In the House. How does this help by electing your candidate? You know, your candidate. I want to take a break, and I want to ask you what your plan is. So your
plan. Oh, you, Maria. Listen to her. Plan. That's adorable.
Threatening Mike Johnson. You say he's not doing what the people want. What is your alternative?
What are you doing? What are you doing? What? Sorry, that's the best Maria Bartiromo Mike. How about what? And then I don't know. How do I do? Marjorie Taylor Greene's difficult because she's a couple of like something like that. I don't know.
Stay with us, Georgia Congresswoman. That's what I want to hear from you next. Marjorie Taylor.
Yeah. We're going to take a break. When we come back, have a fucking plan, okay? During the break, okay? During the break, where's your goddamn plan? And I don't want to hear any 2-week Trump bullshit about it.
Greene is here, and we'll be back in 1 minute's time.
1 minute, right? You couldn't even, you don't have any real advertisers? A minute, shit.
Welcome back, and I am back with Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay, Congresswoman, you wanted Mike Johnson out. What is your alternative plan?
I gave you a whole minute to think it up. God damn it. What?
Our plan is this, is we have to give the American people a reason to trust us and fight for us.
Okay, that's not a plan. That's a goal. The goal would be that reason. You still haven't said what that reason is. I don't know what it, if you know what it is, but still not a plan. I'm just saying, not a plan. That's a reason for them to do it, not a, we'll see. Maybe she'll get.
The American people are supporting President Trump to be the next president of the United States.
No, they aren't. Not even a plurality of voters, not even over half. I'm sorry, he's going to lose. That's still not a plan.
Because they've seen him in action.
They've saw him.
Fought against the Democrat agenda. He put America first.
And he lost. He lost by a lot. Huge turnout because people could vote from home. And Biden kicked his ass from his basement. Apparently couldn't put two sentences together, but could put together a master plan to beat the fuck out of Donald Trump, figuratively speaking, by the way. So still not a plan. Still not a plan. Just a bumper sticker shit.
They desperately want him to lead this country again because they trust him.
Well, okay, so I get it. All right, so this is the plan, Maria. I think I figured it out. Okay, I figured it out, Maria. Boy, Maria, I figured it out. Okay, here it is. The plan. Sorry. This is the plan. Here's the plan. We don't need a plan because Donald Trump is so fucking popular. We can just be as shitty and stupid and broken and wicked and dumb as we want because everybody's gonna show up for Trump anyway. So why not? We don't have to try. We don't have to try. Okay? Okay, that's the plan. The plan is Trump's gonna win, ride the coattails no matter how shitty you are, wreck the fucking place on the way in, because that's what his voters want, is the total and abject destruction of the function of the U.S. government. Sorry, that's what Putin wants. But what's the difference? What's the difference?
And they know he will do that. Mike Johnson has betrayed America.
Yeah, bitch. Oh, we don't care. Well, it doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. Shut the fuck up. Still not a plan.
Betrayed Republican voters. Under his leadership, he's passed the Democrat agenda, passed the Biden administration's policies, and fully funded them. We're going to fight in Congress to do everything we can to...
Hey, stupid. Budget already passed. Funding already passed. There's provisions to extend the funding in those bills that already passed, so they don't have to ask you again between now and the fucking election. And now they're just going to hammer you on the fucking border bill all summer long. Yeah. So you're going to be fighting against an improving economy and you're going to be fighting against the fact that you guys won't vote for a border bill no matter how conservative it is. Tough shit, stupid. Still not a plan. And you can see Marjorie is like, so far, I don't hear a plan.
Stop this type of uniparty.
I don't hear a plan.
Leadership.
Where's the plan?
Mike Johnson's speakership is over. He needs to do the right thing to resign.
That's not a plan. That's not his plan. You can't. Here's my plan. He does something, and then I wait to see if I can do something. Brilliant.
And allow us to move forward in a
You can't move forward?
Controlled process.
Yeah.
If he doesn't do so, he will be vacated.
Well, with all due respect, you didn't give me a plan.
Yeah, I noticed that too. With all due respect, which is none, in serious lack of plan there. It's a serious lack of plan.
For the speaker's role, and again, does this mean you are going to file that motion at some point?
Yes, maybe not.
It's coming regardless of what Mike Johnson decides to do, and we have 3 more Republicans joining us from special elections coming up very soon.
Oh, so exciting. 3, yes. 3 1-to-1 trades, and your number's still down to a 1-vote majority. 0 fucking plan. Now.
So people need to know this can happen.
This can happen. It's gonna, Believe me, just real quick, stupid. I know it can happen, and I don't fucking care. And if you want to, they've already passed a budget. They've already passed Ukraine funding, again, with provisions for extension of the funding into 2026. And secondary support that was in there because you didn't bother to read the fucking thing, even though it was available for 3 days because you're too busy bitching about something you didn't read again. So I don't give a fuck. Dick around all you want. They already passed the budget. There's not going to be another showdown about government funding in fucking June at this point. And all you're going to be is a useless piece of shit. And a lot of people, there's going to be a big bunch of fucking voters who are going to go, you know what? You know what I like about this Biden guy is that, like, compared to the Republicans, is like it's like no drama Obama is back. This is, you're putting some of this shit in the taillights. We always have to deal with foreign influence and that kind of stuff because that's not something we're in control of. But I'm not going to fucking sweat it. And let me, if I may, and I think I can, hello. Let me bring in one little thing that I think shows a contrast, if I may, if you will, and if I can do. Let's see. Yeah, I think I have this in whatever. Give me 1 second. Very exciting. So much fun. We're gonna be lighting. It's gonna be a good time. Everybody, oh yeah. Let's see. We'll grab this. I'm gonna find a. Oh, here we go. Mayor Pete, come on now. Hold on. Don't even try. You crazy lady. Go back in here, and we go back to this, and well, shit. Can we play? Nope. Okay. See if I can hear the audio on this.
Now from.
There we go. Okay, here we go. So Marge, let me, if I can, by comparison, I think it's a good opportunity to compare and contrast, as it were, what Marge is talking about and what we're fans of over here with one of our favorite people on the show, Mayor Pete. Yeah, some of you already know. Here it comes. This is on Earth Day. Not only did Biden announce a bunch of new solar funding and the Climate Corps, but also something that a bunch of us have been waiting for.
Las Vegas, where
for a
Brightline
long
West
time.
is getting ready to break ground this morning, is Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Mr. Secretary, it's great to have you on. I want to start right there.
It is great. We love you, Mayor Pete. We're just saying.
With where you are standing and why this is a milestone not only for the Biden administration, but for the U.S. as we do stand on this precipice of seeing the first high-speed passenger rail begin construction.
Now, could this have happened during the Trump years? Materially, he's a builder. He knows all about construction, probably knows more about trains than the engineers and the caps do. But it could have happened. It didn't. So the only, either he hates it and doesn't want America to succeed, or he's stupid. These are only two options. But apparently, yes, Dark Brandon is on this, and he's got Pete in charge.
Thanks. Yeah, this is a big day for American transportation. It's a big day for the United States. I think so many Americans have traveled abroad, seen what true high-speed rail is like, come back and said, why can't we have nice things like this? I've always believed that there is no reason why the United States can't have the best passenger rail in the world, but you get
Agreed.
what you pay for. And in the past, we just haven't funded it as a country the way we need to. Joe Biden has changed that. The Biden infrastructure plan included funding for our entire rail network, including high-speed rail. And this is set to be the first project that will see revenue service. Their aim is to be up and running by 2028 with a fast ride between here in Las Vegas, where we're standing, and Rancho Cucamonga in Southern California.
By the way, just for the record, for those that don't know, Rancho Cucamonga is way east of Los Angeles. It's right over the hill, basically, as you come in on the 15. When I make that drive, it's, you know, it's to my left. The Yamava Casino, where Nerd Halen has performed, is in Rancho Cucamonga, and it's right. It's an upland, that kind of generalized area. The reason that's where it goes to is that's where the train line was originally laid for a lot of the transport trains that went through there a long time ago. And so the space for it already kind of exists, minus a couple of things that they're going to change. And right there, though, in Rancho Cucamonga, there is now, thanks to the infrastructure plan and the extension of it, there is a LA Metro line that goes all the way into downtown Los Angeles. So there is already a train that goes all the way into town. It's a commuter train. And so this train will high speed from Rancho Cucamonga to Vegas and back. And then from Rancho Cucamonga, you take a regular train, which will take you about, 45 minutes to an hour to get into downtown LA. And then in some cases, there are extensions to that through the subway. And the subway will now take you to North Hollywood. It will take you to Santa Monica, and it will take you down to, I believe, the Long Beach line and LAX. So the infrastructure bill built a lot of train infrastructure in the Los Angeles area that they've been working on. Will I take the train? You're goddamn right I will take the train. When I'm coming in for the jam and all that kind of shit, I can't fucking wait. I'm going to have to because it's 2028, but I will absolutely use it. Yes, and you can access the Ontario airport. That's a great point, Upper, because that's very close. So you could take a train from, a short ride from the high-speed rail to the Ontario airport and fly in and out of there, which will be great for that area. It will be a huge boon to what's effectively the San Gabriel Valley, which is, the amount of growth around that area as far as industry and housing has been an explosion over the last little bit. And as that train gets better, then you start solving a lot of the cost of homes and the price of them. If you have a train you can take into town, it's a lot better. Ask anybody in Chicago who can actually take the metro into Chicago or the L about the cost of getting around downtown and stuff. I used to be able to go downtown when I lived in Winnetka. I'd ride my bike down to Wilmette to the train station, and which many of you will know from the final scene in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, where John Candy is sitting when Steve Martin comes back and gets him. Okay, that's the Wilmette L station stop. That's where I used to take the train into the city to go take classes at Second City, go do stand-up, and go to auditions, and just go downtown with my friends. And it was $1.25. It'd take you all the way downtown. You change at Howard, and then you keep going. And that's what they're building effectively in Los Angeles. And it will change the structure of how much it costs you to live there, and where you can live functionally with and without a car. So it's a huge deal. And Rancho Cucamonga, interestingly enough, is also where I studied with the Grandmaster of Kung Fu Sansu, Bill Lassiter, who's a lovely, lovely human being. And as part of a demo, he choked me out. It was a good time. It took about an eighth of a second because his arms are like steel cables. And it was in a demonstration of him fighting 5 people at once, and he put me to sleep. It was fantastic. And yes, he taught me how to do it as well, and it's an awesome technique. I'm a big fan. So yeah, just saying. That's Rancho Cucamonga. We love Rancho Cucamonga. We love the Rancho Cucamonga. It's like guacamole in a town. It's wonderful. And now think of how many people get to say Rancho Cucamonga now.
That will really, I think, be a watershed moment, because I'm convinced that the first time Americans actually experience American high-speed rail on U.S. soil, there's going to be no going back, and people are going to expect and demand it all across the country.
We've been talking about high-speed rail for many years here in the U.S., and look no further than California and the government funded and planned line between L.A. and San Francisco. I mean, it's been decades in the making. It's many billions of dollars over budget. In terms of Brightline specifically, it's privately owned. Yes, the Biden administration is putting in about $3 billion to the project, but it raises the question, are we going to see more public-private partnerships in...
Oh, God, I get to look forward to Glenn Beck freaking out about public-private partnerships. You know what that means. Dear God, how you lived in Winnetka. Yes, I did. But the train was in Wilmette, so I had to ride my bike from Winnetka to Wilmette to take the train. Yeah. Yeah, dear God, public-private partnerships. You know, like we always have. Like, and isn't Trump proud of one of those? Captain's log. Operation Fart Steed.
In the future, is it really the private sector that's going to be the most compelling way to get things built in this country?
It always has been. I mean, the only thing that wasn't was like dams and the highway system. And even then, we partnered with private companies and private workers to do a bunch of it. Yeah, also not socialism. It isn't. This is public-private partnerships is democratic taxation at work, folks. It's just the kings used to take your money as taxation and build the roads they wanted. The only difference is we have a say now.
Well, you know, we're for whatever works. So we're supporting a project in California that's exclusively public sector driven on the north-south end, and this one that's more of a public-private partnership going east to west between Las Vegas and Southern California. This is a project that I think has really demonstrated how that partnership can work.
Yeah, there's get ready for Seattle, Portland, down to like San Francisco and all that kind of stuff running along those things. It's gonna be kind of nice. Although I have to say, like in earthquake zones, it's always, I just keep picturing Superman bending the rail back up and letting the train ride over him. It always makes me a little nervous.
You've got a company with a track record from their...
Are you a commuterist? Yes, I'm a commuterist. Absolutely.
Florida, it's not high speed in the same way, but they have rail service in Florida that has really achieved remarkable results, known as also as Brightline. But also the project sponsor here is the Nevada Department of Transportation, close partnership with communities in California and with organized labor. Unions delivering this project, making sure that it is on time, on task, and on budget. So I do think this partnership model is clearly the right answer for this particular project. And we're going to go into every project looking for what is most likely to deliver results.
Okay, $1.2 trillion infrastructure law. That's what this project, the funding for this project is coming out of. Roughly half of that $1.2 trillion is being deployed through the Department of Transportation. How much has been handed out or allocated? How long is it going to take to materialize in terms of shovels in the ground at a time where economists are pointing to some of these fiscal stimulus bills like infrastructure as the reasons that the U.S. economy is holding up as well as it is, and perhaps part of the reason inflation is as sticky as it is?
Well, so let's be clear that part of how economists believe that we've achieved some of the disinflation of recent years has also been...
Oh, it's going to be in the middle of the I-15. That's why it goes to Cucamonga. Yeah, I know that train line. Right now, that's largely, especially as you get closer to Rancho Cucamonga and over the hill. I just like saying Rancho Cucamonga. There's like regular train lines along that area. It's already graded for it. They've moved one line over. So maybe they're just using the old line space to create this track through there. That would be fucking fantastic. It's a gorgeous drive. It's a shame you can't watch more of it when you're in the driver's seat in that regard. It'll be nice. It'll be a nice train ride to watch that zip by.
Been having our supply chains improve, and part of that requires the upfront investment of the kind of construction that we're doing right now. But yeah, I mean, this is about as much infrastructure investment as our economy can absorb, but it's also long overdue. Where we are right now in terms of a status kind of status report is we're at 50,000 projects and counting that have been identified as getting support through the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. Some of those, there's six-figure grants going to improve the safety of a streetscape in a neighborhood somewhere. They can be done in one construction season. Others are on the order of the Hudson River Tunnel project in New York, arguably the biggest transportation public works project east of the Mississippi in modern times. And that's going to be the work of a generation. And it's everything in between. So, you know, unlike 2009, the stimulus bill under Obama, where it was all about shovel-ready projects, because it was really about kind of juicing the economy as much as possible, what you have here is really short, medium, and long-term plays. Again, some things that are literally under construction right now, as we will be today with Brightline. Some things that we're funding just to get on the drawing board so that they can one day come off the drawing board with those plans complete and go into construction. This is not a one-off or one-year vision. It's really about making sure that the 2020s go down in history as America's infrastructure decade for the 21st century.
Yep. So that was what, chat room, that was what the Biden administration was doing today while Trump was shitting himself in, you know, and sitting in squalor and stinking up the place. Now, that wasn't the only thing. By the way, hit that like, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, help me out here, help me grow the show. We got a lot of people here today. It's fantastic.
Even outside, it's packed.
Oh my God, there's so many people. Now, we do have, this is a holiday. It's not just Earth Day, but today is the day that the GOP has officially died. I don't know if you know this. I wasn't aware of this. It's dead. Now, Marge thinks, you know, it can be revived as long as they Frankenstein a heart from, I don't know, an alligator into it or something, or give it pig kidneys. Who can say? But according to this guy, Sarcito, the man with the weak libido over there at Newsmax, this guy, if I do say so my damn self, is he does a preamble at the beginning, because they all have this exaggerated, it's like Laura Ingraham and the Ingram angle, and I don't know what that, anyways, he does a preamble because he's a constitutional something. So they all have this kind of like bullshit, puffed up, branded idea of like, this is the name of my opening monologue. Right. So there we go. Yeah, this is fascinating, because here's the guy who destroyed the GOP. Clearly, he's got to be talking about Mike Johnson, or maybe McCarthy, or perhaps even Mike Pence, or his. Oh no, okay, sorry, it was Biden. Biden destroyed the GOP. By being so good at his job that they could quit. I don't know. I'm fascinated by, I mean, again, don't threaten me with a good time. Okay. Yeah, I guess we'll just chalk this up along with Biden's other wins. Yeah? Okay. So, and also, I mean, I think it's a lot to say that he destroyed it when simply he turned on the power of Doc Brandon and it fell of its own accord. Ha, 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 ha. Trump, your powers have no strength around here. I punched it out of the way. Your farts cannot attack me. I have my red eyes burn through your fart gas. So, all right, I'm fine. Now, let's see. I'm curious. Now, we don't have to watch all of this, because I'm sure it's the first 2 minutes are dumb enough for the rest of them. But yeah.
Constitution yesterday setting a dangerous precedent for complete anarchy in our country. Instead of punishing the
Sorry, I didn't catch the top of that because they edited it.
After the Democrats shred the Constitution yesterday,
After the Democrats shredded the Constitution yesterday by going through the process to bring a bill to the floor and pass it and sending it up to the Senate, where it will also get voted on and then signed by the president. What was the shredding of the Constitution?
A dangerous precedent for complete anarchy in our country.
Yeah, that's what it was. The anarchy bill. Did the anarchy bill pass? What the fuck? How did it come? Why did nobody tell me?
Instead of punishing the Democrats for their breach of our mutual handshake,
it's not that the breach of our mutual handshake. Okay, first of all, I think all handshakes have to be mutual. It's the nature of a handshake. Also, you're fucking weird.
the GOP in the House went to work to help the Democrats impose their will on our country.
With the help of, I guess, over half of the Republicans who want to impose their will on the country. So 3/4 of the representatives in the House vote for something, and 1/4 of them vote against it, and the majority are forcing their will on the majority. Okay.
Even after the Democrats have inflicted so much pain and so...
Oh, the pain of the stock market wages increase and the infrastructure projects that are happening and the CHIPS Act and rescue plan and having the best economy on the planet right now and the quickest recovery. And yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's just, now granted, he means Trump lost. So all is lost.
Suffering on GOP voters. Despite the majority of our people no longer wishing to send billions of dollars to fund overseas adventure.
August 4th, 2023. Yeah, there was a turnaround since Republicans cut off that aid. Yeah, that poll reversed. That was a single poll.
The Uniparty is colluding to vote that money out the door tomorrow.
It already happened.
This is all to give dear leader Joe Biden exactly what he wants.
Well, by the way, also, if he's dear leader, he doesn't need a vote. You know, that's a Kim Jong-un reference, and he doesn't have to wait around for shit to vote. If we had a dear leader situation, then it would be automatic. You weird little man.
Throwing more good taxpayer money toward our government's corruption.
Our government's corruption? I mean, aren't you supposed to say, like, Ukrainian corruption or something like that? Aren't you supposed to use them as... What the fuck? I got news for you. If anything, that money is not being used for American government corruption because it's going out the door.
So I thought it'd be instructive to look at the genius, the mastermind who has whipped the Republicans' rear end.
Okay, so this will be a sarcastic view. The idea that Biden didn't destroy them. They destroyed themselves because they were afraid of a man who's weak and whatever.
He has handed them their lunch. He has made them look like foolish children.
Yeah, but he didn't really have to do much work at all. I think it mostly by just passing an infrastructure bill. You know, after that point, it was like he could kind of coast.
He has forced them to betray their own voters. Let's examine.
No, I think, yeah, I mean, again, no one did. The Republicans that voted for it either did it out of principle because they were hired to vote on their principles, or because, if we'll find out, if they don't get reelected, those guys don't get reelected, then on this particular issue, then that will be them violating their, the voters will have had their say. Like they had with Trump in 2020 when they kicked him out.
Joe Biden. Here's the guy who has destroyed the GOP. It's an instructive expose in today's preamble. For the last 3 years, the GOP has rubber-stamped everything Joe Biden has wanted. Starting this Congress, the GOP had a slim 4-vote margin.
4-vote margin. A 4-vote margin. I mean, I don't know. It sounds like a mandate to me.
So GOP party bosses got to work whittling down their majority. First, they threw out one of their members. Then other Republicans...
Who would that be? Anybody remember that guy? Why would they throw that guy out? Maybe because he wasn't actually that guy. Is there a reason why you don't want to say Santos's name? Is there a reason why you don't want to? It's weird. Like what? Which one they threw out? Just one of their members. As a matter of fact, I would argue with Santos. I would argue they threw out 2, maybe 3. How many guys are we talking about? Like, is it George DeVolder? Is it George Santos? Are either of those his real name? Did he ever work for Goldman Sachs? Did they throw out the guy that worked for Goldman Sachs, or the guy that they found out didn't work for Goldman Sachs? I get all these guys confused.
Republicans broke their promise to their voters by quitting on them and quitting on America.
Well, I can't help you there. They're quitters in general. I get, it sounds like you're making the case that Republicans are just like weak, feckless, weak, stupid. Okay.
Now the GOP has only a 1-vote majority.
Yeah, I know. And that is that's going to be the fault of the people who voted for Ukraine aid.
And that's their excuse, to find the nearest Democrat butt cheek to plant their lips. And Joe Biden's butt cheek, folks, is getting pretty chapped from all the GOP genuflecting out there.
Okay, first of all, it's genuflecting. Also, I don't even know how to picture that. Please walk me through that, weirdo. So they're genuflecting his butt, which would be this and you can't get, your butt doesn't get chapped from being kissed. If anything, it's a deposit of moisture, but if you're doing it right, yeah. Sorry, I'm getting a weird pain in my forehead trying to make this make sense. Yeah. I think sort of he just this is another case of like someone having sarcasm instead of a real sense of humor.
Sadly for Republicans.
They're Republicans. No, that's not what you're going to say. I thought you were going to say. Yeah. Sadly for Republicans, they're surrounded by Republicans.
Americans don't share the GOP's love for Joe Biden, a fact that Joe Biden revealed on the campaign trail.
I've never thought I'd see a time when I'm going through a neighborhood or a rural town in the West or something and see big signs that have a Trump sign in the middle that says F. Biden. And having a little kid standing with his middle finger, 7 years old, 8 years old. Well, I promise it happens all the time. It's not who we are.
Wow, never seen anything like that, huh?
Yeah, that's the point. It's not the adults he's worried about. It's that they have their little kids doing it. It's fucking weird. I fucking can't stand Donald Trump. He's a piece of shit. My son is going to be 13 next month, and my heart just swelled for a second. Excuse me. And at no point would I go out there while Trump's driving by. He's going to be on the freeway. Go give him a finger. Give him a finger, Charlie. 7 years old. Go out there. Come on. Right? That's fucked up. What's wrong with you? And also don't have your kid, don't pervert your kid on your own behalf.
Of course, Biden provided no proof of what he saw, but, I seem to recall, that's right, leftists doing something like this. Oh, yes.
Yeah, but Biden isn't the problem. There's a difference between the middle finger and that. Wouldn't you agree?
Look at the civility Joe Biden's left-wingers teach their children. F Donald Trump this, and racist that.
Well, calling someone racist who's racist isn't a pejorative slam. And also, if you're going to claim he's not showing proof of what he's saying, by the way, a stock footage, a stock picture of a kid on a playground with the Biden sales shirt on there, the reason he blocked the face out, just for the record, is this, and this is Ted Hunt, something, Feed Hunt, whatever that is. I can't read it. It's very small on my screen. Maybe you guys know. That's a stock image. That's a stock photo that they use on t-shirt sales sites. Just saying.
Could this be another case of a Democrat accusing others of what Democrats are guilty of?
Yeah, when they do it, it's wrong. And in this particular instance, like when this woman's carrying it, and there's a girl behind her. I don't know, but this is like peace, not Trump, which is what's happening right here. This lady, I don't know what she's doing here, but the rest of them, I don't have a problem with this part of it. But also that little girl, find me a picture of her giving the finger to Trump as he goes by, and we'll have a word.
But hey, let's just forget about all that for now. Let's focus on the life story of Joe Biden. Did you know that he was the first in his family to go to college?
I, like an awful lot of people in this audience, was the first in my family to go to college.
His immediate family, his nuclear family. He was the oldest, and his older brother was older than him, but Joe went first. Not the first in their family line, dummy.
And watched my dad struggle to help me get there. And
yeah, that's why he made Hunter pay for half of his room and board. That's why Hunter was like, I hope you don't have to give half your salary to Dad. He was talking to his daughter, who was in college at the time.
Wow. How can the GOP compete with such an accomplished man as Joe Biden? You know, he rose up from nothing. Oh, wait. Joe Biden also claims his granddad was an All-American football player, in college. How can Biden be the first in his family to go to college when his...
Of the siblings. That's what he was talking about in the speech.
Grandfather was an All-American.
Because his grandfather was, but his father wasn't. And he went, like, again, this is...
One of those statements must be...
What the fuck was that? Did they edit this
when his
part of it
grandfather
out?
was an All-American. One of those statements must be a lie, right?
You mean, yeah, yours. Anyways, I find him boring. So you get the point. This is this idea that somehow that we have nothing to fear from Joe Biden except that he can beat Donald Trump, and that's scary. Meanwhile, also, he's not the only one who wants to sell how awful Joe Biden is, and it's probably the infrastructure bill that's making him as mad as he is. Ladies and gentlemen, I present if Greg Kelly is the most miserable man on the internet, then this man is the most bitter. How about that? Yeah, let's go with bitter. This is the Mark Levin, bitter as an aspirin sandwich, like a mouthful of lie and chalk. Yeah. And but this is Mark Levin. Here's why Biden has been awful for America. Okay, Mr. Producer, I hate this.
America, since the day.
Hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to make the.
Gentlemen, real quick. What?
Ladies and gentlemen,
ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
I'm here to make the case that Joe Biden has been awful for America.
Yeah, we get it. It's a day ending in Y that you have a show on Fox or something, or it's midday Saturday where they have parked you so that they can pay you a stipend so you'll show up on Sean Hannity's show if he needs to go take a dump.
Since the day he stepped into the U.S. Senate and sided with the racists and segregationists.
Yeah, he's really I mean, if you look at who he chose for his running mate, you can tell that it's a streak that he's had throughout this whole thing. Like that's what's been important to him, and he's managed to pull it off. Getting Mike Pence to dress up as Kamala Harris. Incredible.
And oppose integrating our public schools.
It's terrible. Oppose integrating our public. This was about busing at the time, by the way, which in a bunch of areas, especially his, was largely a failed endeavor. They were better to fund those schools around them and then move people, like let the communities grow. This was where they were like hard segregated lines. We're not talking about the South. They were trying to implement a similar plan all over the country. It didn't necessarily have to happen that way. And the South was using it as a way to divert Department of Education funds up north where it was not needed, and there was already a lot of it, integration. But either way, here's the other thing. Let's just go with it. Let's just go with the idea that he's saying here, that Joe Biden was a racist, sided with segregationists, hated integration, and was against it ever since. Well, motherfucker, has that guy come around being vice president to the first black president and having the first woman of color as his vice president himself. You're almost selling me on this is a guy that can grow. This is a guy who can change. This is a guy who can explore new ways and learn from his mistakes.
Was a leader in that movement.
Well, lucky you, he's incompetent, so it failed.
He's been awful for America. He took...
Awful. I mean, America's been shit ever since he joined the Senate. He really has. America, terrible. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for bringing this up. Mark is right. America has just, since 1973, it's been terrible. America, what good is... Nothing. Nothing good's come out of America and largely because Joe Biden was in the Senate, you know? Man.
The Senate Judiciary Committee and turned it inside out, using it to character assassinate some of the greatest legal minds in American history.
He means Clarence Thomas. We'll put a pin in that for later.
To prevent them from going on circuit and Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
In 1994, he authored a bill, the purpose of which was to round up as many people as possible for violating our crack laws.
Yes, then the Joe Biden 1994 crack bill. Also, for the record, all Republicans supported the idea of disparate sentences for crack versus for regular cocaine, and so the idea that this asshole was against a more draconian version of it, they're just pissed that it didn't go far enough for them. Also, this plays into that whole Joe Biden did the crime bill, and that's why we have mass incarceration, which we absolutely do not. That is, the crime bill was not the reason why we had an increase in incarcerated people from that point forward. That reason was VICAP and a national fingerprint database. And so people who used to rape and murder and rob in one state could hop over to another state, use a different name, and unless somebody recognized them from across the state line, they'd never put it together. And unless the FBI had tracked some sort of big crime spree, they could just kind of work their way all over the place. And look no further than Ted Bundy when he went to Florida and stood before a judge and refused to say his name because they had to just go by the ID that he had on them, and they didn't have a fingerprint database that they could just run him and go, hey, that's fucking Ted Bundy. And so he used his right to remain silent to not even give his own name. And the only reason they caught him was because they were on camera and somebody went, that's fucking Ted from Colorado. So that's why. Three strikes, talk your ass off about that shit. But VICAP, the violent violent criminal database, and then the fingerprint database was the primary reason. People who were repeat offenders, who moved across state lines all the time or moved around enough where you couldn't catch them, or they had gotten away with something and then the energy, the heat had died down and they do it again, and the heat died down, they do it again, or they went in and out and used different names. They were in jail under different names across the country. That ended. That's what everybody was trying to end, including the majority of black mayors in the country who all supported the crime bill in particular. And the funding for these two.
And you had disparate treatment between blacks and whites, and he was all in, and
so are you right now.
He was all for it.
No, he wasn't. No, he was not. Citation needed. Please show me the footage. I'm sure you have it somewhere, Mark Levin. Mr. Producer, roll the tape of Joe Biden going, I hope they put more blacks away than whites. You guys remember when, remember when Biden took out that full-page ad about the Central Park Five? Remember that?
This is a very nasty, dangerous man in so many respects.
Like?
Today, he has our borders wide open.
No, he doesn't.
So anybody can walk in and...
No, he doesn't. Unless you're going to say that Customs and Border Patrol are standing down and are not doing their job for some reason because they hate the country or they're violating the Constitution. So they're just letting people walk through. So that's what we're supposed to believe. We're supposed to believe that people who are guarding the border are just going, fuck it, I don't care. Let them through. We'll show Biden.
They are walking in, and you see what it's done to our country.
Yeah, we're still 1 million jobs short of full employment.
The death of tens of thousands of people, with the communist Chinese providing the material for fentanyl to the drug cartels that are...
Also, by the way, some of those precursors for fentanyl come from Arizona and go to Mexico to be turned into fentanyl, along with a lot of guns. I'm sure this asshole supported Fast and Furious, which is an attempt to stop the amount of guns that were coming out of the United States and going into Mexico, I think, right? Wasn't he a big proponent of Fast and Furious to stop that?
are making and raking in billions and billions. He's the greatest slaver in American history.
Okay, I mean, at some point, why hold back? Yes, we're all enslaved by Joe Biden. Yes, apparently, and black people are all enslaved. Oh, and I think what he's probably talking about is human trafficking, which to us, I think most of us means people forced into the sex trade against their will, locked up and forced to, have sex and all this kind of stuff in these situations. And that's how most of us think of human trafficking in that regard, right? Not locally, like adult performers and prostitutes or whatever, sex workers getting a pimp and having them work as an agent or a madam or whatever, but specifically being controlled to do this. Just that's the way most of us think of as human trafficking. What this motherfucker wants to repurpose the word is that coyotes, who people pay to get across the border, are in his way of thinking the same as someone who sex traffics a child or someone, where they put a person pays to get into a truck and be driven across the border. Therefore, they have trafficked in human beings. This is not them being sold, for slavery or any of that kind of stuff. They are paying to be trafficked themselves in most cases, or they are engaging in, carrying drugs or something else themselves as payment to get through. And what he wants you to think is that's the same. It's a wash.
Whether during or before the Civil War, he's it.
That's just fucking bizarre.
And it's funny how we don't hear very much about that.
Well, it's because it's lunacy. Because it's fucking ridiculous. It is absurd, and like people don't say that out loud because they don't want people to choke on their drinks as they go, what? What are you talking about?
That from MSNBC and CNN and the usual reprobates.
You're leaving Fox out of this? They're mainstream. The usual reprobates. Well, obviously, reprobates obviously make a lot of money on this.
What he has done to our economic system.
Oh, yeah, with the dollar being worth more than $1.
With rampant inflation. And
the supply shock that he caused by insisting the U.S. economy be bigger and stronger than any in the world, and therefore our consumers have more buying power than anyone on the planet, and therefore they're using it.
He still wants to deficit spend even more. Future generations, how they're going to shoulder all this, I don't have the foggiest idea.
Okay, real quick. Mark probably owns his house free and clear. But most people, myself included, the mortgage on your house is probably more than you make in a year. What do you think? Anybody have a house? And I mean, hopefully I'll get there at some point. But anybody have a house that the cost of the house is equal to your salary for the year? Right? Anybody? No. So the average American has a 300% debt to GDP ratio if they own a home. And don't even start if they don't own their car outright. Right? And minus Trump's $6 trillion hole that he blew in the deficit with his tax break, we're almost 1-to-1. We're like at 110% after, by the way, after 9/11, the fucking 2008 crash, and COVID. Imagine you're 2 tornadoes and a hurricane in, and you only owe a 1-to-1 on your house. You deficit spend to repair your roof, fix the foundation, get a new car, plant a new tree so it could fall on your house the next time, right? That guy thinks that every American who has a mortgage is a loser, except him.
Our interest on the debt is now bigger than our defense budget, which he's frozen in place while our enemies are getting stronger and stronger and stronger.
Huh? Wait, so are we supposed to deficit spend on more military spending and stronger? We're still 6 times bigger as a military than all the other big militaries combined. And don't give me this shit about China has a lot of boats. Every rowboat in that country is considered military because that's how communism works.
He's turned our judicial system, our justice system, into a joke.
Well, no, he's turned Donald Trump into a punchline. It's not quite the same thing.
Into a Stalinist-style political operation where...
Why would you even... A Stalinist style? What if that was true? Trump would already be in a fucking gulag. They wouldn't be having Sandoval hearings and juries. What kind of bullshit is that? Are you out of your mind? He'd be in Gitmo upside down, hanging by his feet.
He's trying to imprison the former president of the United States, where Donald Trump's free speech rights under the First Amendment, equal protection rights under the 5th and 14th Amendment.
Wait, you're having to read these?
Due process rights under the 5th and 14th Amendments, impartial jury under the 6th Amendment, right to competent counsel under the 6th Amendment.
Whoa. Wait a second. All right, I was totally with you on your bullshit about that you think he's being gagged when he can talk every day and he's got his own social media network and he just can't shit talk and endanger the lives of staff there, which every defendant goes through. His big complaint is that Trump is being treated like a normal person. How can this be allowed? But competent counsel? Wait a second. It's our fault as Americans that he hires dumbasses. That's glorious. That's I don't know. That is the biggest roundhouse shit on Trump's fucking attorneys I have ever seen. Huh? So it's Joe Biden's fault Trump hires incompetent losers or people who are good and then realize, oh, fuck, this dude's guilty and he's going to be a terrible client and he's not going to pay me, so I'm out. That's Joe Biden's fault.
You can't be in 4 separate criminal cases.
Well, it's a myriad of crimes. What do you want us to do? I mean, Trump has an option. I think it would be, what's that?
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
I mean, that would probably solve most of his issues.
In 4 separate jurisdictions, simultaneously.
Oh my God. Well, I got to tell you, there was a pause on them being able to try him for election interference around this particular case while he was president. So that paused it out a little bit. And there's, of course, a statute of limitations on a bunch of these things, and he was trying to run them out. But since he couldn't be tried as president, it kind of froze them in place. And then the other crimes he committed right after he got well, in the case of January 6th, while he was leaving, and then the classified documents over the course of that year. And so they're kind of laying out almost exactly as he did them, right? He stops being president, like the Jan 6 stuff and the Stormy Daniels stuff about running together, yeah? And then the classified documents case, there's going to be a tax case also, but whatever.
And comply with the Bill of Rights of the United States. It's not possible.
Sure it is. He was in court today. Again, I won't argue with you that his attorneys are stupid. That's good. That's true. They're incredibly stupid, but they're hot, and so that's what he wants. That's what he gets.
It's simply not possible.
Well, also, why? Because he's not a normal person. That's what it is. The rest of us could, but he can't.
And Joe Biden's behind all of it, and I've explained it before.
Right, but can you run it by us again? Because I really, when you said it before, I was like, this sounds like bullshit.
So this is the diabolical person.
This is the diabolical person. It's like poetry. I don't even know how. Like, how do you? I mean, there are writers that work their whole lives to craft phrases like this, and he just spits them right out. They just fall out of his face.
Who occupies the White House.
He's occupying it, right? He's just a squatter.
Who doesn't know ingress from egress? Who doesn't know?
Real quick, please don't ask Trump the difference between either of those. I would say just in general, not a good idea.
We are going to be a country no more. I actually think it will not. It will be a country no more.
Yeah, I would.
Here I am like an idiot.
I'd be real careful about.
His wife from his sister. Who doesn't know Haifa from Hamas? Who doesn't know the president of Egypt from the president of Mexico?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. And when he makes a mistake like that, he just goes, yeah, I misspoke. Whereas Trump would go, no, that guy really is, if you think about it, he really is, the Mexican president is the president of Egypt, if you really think about it.
This is who the Democrat Party is serving up a second time.
Yeah, I'm going to vote for him. I'm excited to do it.
As their fantastic nominee for president.
Yeah. Dude, they just broke ground on high-speed rail here. We're reshoring tech factories at the fastest clip in the nation's history. China's on its fucking heels. We're beloved again in the world. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Again, the dollar is worth $1.06 right now. Think about that. The U.S. dollar is worth more than the U.S. dollar. It wasn't when Trump was in office. I'm just saying.
And this is who the ruling class.
Well, look, no, we're not the ruling class, but we do rule and we do have class. I'm just saying.
The media and all the rest of them in Washington, D.C.
You have a microphone. You realize you're on television, that this is not, you don't have to, you're not in a little box on people's desks. Maybe you are.
And the power.
I mean, we're going to find out this guy's a shaved squirrel.
Centers in New York and L.A. are trying to impose on us. This is the man. No matter how he endangers the American people, no matter how he
Yeah, he endangers you with full employment or something.
Impoverishes the American people, no matter how he endangers our allies.
Who? You mean Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, the Europeans? Like, he's not the one trying to leave fucking NATO and hang those people out to dry.
And is an international arsonist turning peace into war in the Middle East. It doesn't matter.
Yes, that's what's happening. He's turning peace into war in the Middle East. All right. This is, by the way, the general thought on the right. Like, I know what you're thinking. This is just a shouty old man with a tinny voice screaming at a camera in a random room. No, this is pretty much what they think. This is right in line with it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because it's all about power.
Is it? Well, you need power to do things like infrastructure, the CHIPS Act, the rescue package, keep unemployment below 4%, have wages outpace inflation even when it's unseasonably high because of supply shocks. It takes a lot of power to do that. Solar power, actually, and it's Earth Day, and I'm glad you brought it up, Mark, because Joe Biden jump-started a bunch of solar funding today, which was part of the Infrastructure Act and the rescue package, which was fantastic. And like I said, we're gonna see a huge leap forward in solar tech. It's gonna be a good time.
Now, I want to remind you of this.
Yeah, can you remind me a little quiet?
This man's record in another regard.
In another regard.
We sit back and we watch the Iron Dome in Israel.
Uh-huh. Do we? I mean, I see stories about it, but I don't. Do you have a direct feed or?
Well, I got to experience it personally, as did members of my family, as I was there.
Those are UFOs. That's not the Iron Dome working. I got to tell you, that's clearly aliens. Look at that formation.
Last Saturday, when the Islamo-Nazi regime in Iran, brought to us by Jimmy Carter, another Democrat.
What? Reagan propped them out, you dumbass.
Shot 300 missiles at Israel.
That's not a missile, stupid. That's a drone. Don't say 300 missiles when you're showing drones on screen. I just got to say, I'm trying to help you out, but it makes you look like an asshole. Like a real asshole. Like people would look at you and go, wow, what an asshole. He thinks we can't see that that's a drone and not a missile? Or does he think that the Iranians have paper airplanes?
So much praise for Biden, so much praise for the SDI system, the strategic defense system. It was magnificent. Look,
you're alive, aren't you?
Look how fantastic it was.
You survived the attack, dumb fuck. You were there. Let him go. He's on a roll. Thanks, Anthony. Yeah. When the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor, let him go. He's on a roll. You were, hey, fuckhead. It saved your life. Joe Biden saved your life. The Iron Dome and the funding and the stuff, the missiles, the stuff we gave them saved your life. The SDI saved your life, stupid. Without it, those missiles you were talking about, the few that were behind there, would have made it and you'd be dead right now. Is that okay? That's what I figured. I figured it out. It took me a minute. I'm sorry it took me this long. My bad. Sometimes it all has to stack up and then my brain starts hashing it around in the background while I'm talking and goes, hey, asshole. And I go, yeah, I'm trying to get to a joke. And it goes, but there's a real, I'll get to you in a second. God damn it. I'll tell you what, he's mad that he has to be grateful of the strategic work between Israel and the Biden administration, even though Biden and Netanyahu are not close. He owes it to Biden right now that he's alive, and it's making him really mad. That's what it is. He's real. That's it. He's pissed. He's pissed he was over there, and I don't think he thought he was going to meet his maker, but when the attack happened and it turned into nothing, he was like, oh, fuck. I owe Joe Biden my life. That's a rough one. That's a honest to God. He's sitting there like, if I was here and Trump was in office, I'd be dead right now. That's got to be, no wonder he's pissed.
No thanks to Joe Biden.
No, specifically thanks to Joe Biden, stupid. Very specifically. They headed off, they strategized with the Israelis to cut stuff off that was moving too fast for them to hit with the dome, and they hit it way out. Yes, thanks to him. Specifically, stupid.
No thanks to Joe Biden.
No. Thanks to Joe Biden.
No thanks to the Democrat Party.
Thanks to the Democrat Party. Democratic Party, asshole, but sure.
The Democrat Party opposed Ronald Reagan when he introduced the Strategic Defense Initiative almost 41 years to the day.
Asshole, that was Star Wars. That was like exo-atmospheric weapon systems, satellites, bouncing lasers and shit like that. That's not what this is, stupid. This is, oh God. Yeah, this might come as a shock to you, Mark Levin, but you do realize that there are a lot of technology concepts that were presented a long time ago that wouldn't have worked then because there was a lot of inventing and shit that had to happen before it would be functional. Right. You have a mic. Why are you shouting?
March 1983.
Yes, the peak of technological advancements. We all saw Return of the Jedi. All of that tech was available then. It was hidden after Roswell.
And General Daniel Graham, the man who was behind...
Yeah, who they affectionately called the Cracker, and you couldn't do it today. Sorry, I was just holding for the laugh, even though you're...
I'm promoting it in the first place.
God damn, simmer, dude.
They opposed it.
Right, because it wouldn't have worked then.
They tried to defund it.
Because look, he took the fucking solar panels off the White House, technology that was on its way to being better, and was trying to push something that was a pie in the sky idea to just fund like DARPA-like projects that had nowhere to go at the time. That shit couldn't even function until after we built the early version of what's at CERN, the Hadron Collider that we have.
They tried to prevent it with killer amendments, one after another. On one occasion, Ronald Reagan had to shut down the government in order to get it funded to some extent.
Right, because they were for the part, to some extent, the part that was used here in this, yeah. He's way louder. I'm sorry, I'll bring it down a little bit. I mean, he's gotten louder, so. They funded the part that would work. And Joe fixed it? Right. Joe used it effectively?
There was a piece written by Martin Anderson, a close advisor for many, many years to Ronald Reagan.
Okay. About Joe Biden?
On June 9, 1986, in the Christian Science Monitor, he said, since President Reagan announced his SDI in 1983 Strategic Defense Initiative, there's been strong and powerful opposition to the idea, most of it from the left side of the political spectrum.
Most? Wait a second. What do you mean, most? Most? What the shit? Who the look, I know you hate us. Good Lord. But isn't it about time you went after those rhinos on his right who didn't like what he was doing? Probably Rand Paul's dad.
One curious aspect of this opposition is that the scientists who raise technical objections and the nuclear weapons experts who detect flaws in the military strategy are, to the best of my knowledge, virtually all Democrats. When you can safely predict that a scientist or nuclear weapons expert who is opposed to our missile defense efforts will more than likely turn out to be a registered Democrat.
Well, I'm going to need to know which ones didn't, because that's kind of crucial in terms of science. You know what I mean? Either there's a consistent pattern or there isn't. It might just be that there are more nuclear scientists that are Democrats because they were kind of leaning in the direction of peace, specifically post-Vietnam.
Then you can be pretty sure you're dealing with a political issue, not a scientific one or military one. In fact, much of the Democrats' recent opposition, 1986...
Yes, thank you for reminding us that this has to do with fucking what?
To the notion of missile defense can be explained as a reflex action to an overwhelmingly political problem that they have.
Which is?
Oh
my God, he's just going to keep reading this. What?
Policy issues have dominated the political debate in the United States for the last 40 years. Again, that would be the last 80 now. Defense policy and economic policy.
Also, when is that not dominated all countries? If you're, it's always going to be in your top 3.
When either of our political parties gets crosswise with the American voter on one of these issues, it is in severe political trouble. And if it gets on the wrong side of both issues for long enough, it can destroy itself.
Weird. So let's look at the 2 major parties, Mark. It's excellent you bring that up. Which party is in no danger of destroying itself right now? I don't know, 40 years ago. Right now. Which party? And which party is barely hanging on by their short and curlies? Just which party is this close to implode? Which party had should have walked away with a red tsunami, as it were. Oh, I gave it away by saying the red part, but I meant, just trust me that I meant Russian. In the election cycle, gotten a lot more seats than they did, and they didn't, and then their majority has been shrinking ever since. Which party would that be? Which party would that actually pertain to right now?
The Democrats are already on the wrong side of economic policy.
Well, I can understand why Martin Anderson in the Christian Science Monitor, who's a Reagan fan, would believe that.
When Reagan announced his comprehensive economic program in the 1980 campaign, they quickly denounced it, and that includes Biden.
Right, and we had using his plan, we ended up in a recession. We had 2 recessions because of his economic stewardship of the economy. I was alive then, you know.
The last 5 years, they have been searching desperately for an alternative. They have not yet found one, and the reason they have not found one is that none exists.
Yes, there's only one way to run an economy from a governmental standpoint. The Reagan way, and there is no other. Also, look at him walking up. There's Joe punching Reagan right in the fucking face.
The Democrats made a fundamental political error by allowing Mr. Reagan to stake his claim for the only politically viable solution to the economic difficulties that face us. And he went on.
I got to... Isn't that the hero you're talking about? Like, hanging out with... They look like they're getting along just fine. All this does is remind me that even though there were huge disparities between the parties, they were at least able to be reasonable in their intercourse with each other. And, you know, there was comedy there.
To talk about Reaganomics, which they used as a term to attack Reagan's policies.
Yeah, like you do with Bidenomics, dummy.
But when President Reagan suddenly proposed a missile defense system for his country, this country, in 1983, he placed the Democrats in an impossible political situation. The Strategic Defense Initiative, these defensive missiles, was a radical, fundamental change in our nuclear defense strategy.
Yeah, because if you'll notice, see this thing up here? These are satellites. And the idea is that he wanted to weaponize space. It was once you cross that line, then the Soviets will cross that line, then the Chinese will cross that line, and quite frankly, the Chinese already did, and we technically did in a defensive posture, but there would have been the idea was to keep nukes out of space. That's what Democrats were worrying about. And every time they tried this shit, it didn't work.
A proposal to move from a policy of mutually assured destruction, MAD, which relies on the threat of the revenge killing of millions of innocent people as a deterrent, it always bothered Reagan, to a missile defense shield, which relies on killing.
Martin Anderson did not say it always bothered Reagan. Oh, thank you, Peter, for that super sticker.
Incoming nuclear missiles before they can kill anyone.
And thank you, Deanne. And thank you guys for the likes.
Morally, the policy of a missile defense shield is vastly superior to mutually assured destruction.
If it works. If it works. And Beverly, what he means by revenge killing is that if you strike us, we're going to... You launch a missile, we're launching all our missiles, and we'll just both wipe each other out. That's what mutual assured destruction was.
And the swift advances in rocket and laser beam technology since we abandoned our first efforts at missile defense in the mid-70s have tremendously increased the practicality of missile defense.
Right, without actually making it viable. Also, for the record, one of the problems that some of the Democrats had was announcing that you have this before it works.
He goes on. The Democrats dilemma.
This what? No, you go on. I'm done, Mr. Producer. Stop right there. Mark Levin, for whatever fucking reason, has decided to fall back to reading articles from 1986 that don't mention Joe Biden at all. And the only introduction of Biden into that conversation was video from the Reagan library of Joe Biden smiling and shaking hands with Reagan and having a sit down to talk to him over policy like adults. What the fuck are you... Why is this a thing? Now, shit, I went way over anyways, didn't I? Can I show you something? I mean, it's only fair, I think, at this point, that I just show you, like, the single dumbest. That's hard to say, though. I don't know what the fuck. There's just so many dumb takes. I don't even know how to get. Okay, so real quick, this should be fairly short. The Mess D'Souza has his wife Debbie on, and so you can tell the racism will be freshly picked and picked and flown in from Iraq, and this is Mike Johnson's latest moves reveal his true legislative priorities. Clearly, he's a rhino monster. Blah blah blah. Yes, it gets dumber. This isn't even the dumbest one. This is just the short. They get to the dumb quicker, I guess.
Yeah, here's my...
By the way, I've not... Oh, watch this. Sorry, that's loud. I have not watched...
Mike Johnson now, and he's talking about bringing an Israel funding bill and a Ukraine funding bill.
It's so great to watch these. It's like watching the movie 2012 in 2013. It's hilarious.
Separate.
Or watching Y2K videos, like panic news reports now. Oh, it's just, I mean, if you want to, it's some of the most like high level Second City style comedy is what, I mean, it looks like SCTV sketches.
For a vote, but nothing on the border. And this is the very same Mike Johnson who said we can't solve other people's problems before we solve our own.
Well, they scuttled the other bill, dum-dum.
I thought...
Yes, and yeah, people like live from IKEA. They're just looking, excuse me, I don't know where you got those microphones from, but this is one of our dummy rooms, and you can't, I can't, can you just wrap it up?
It was tied to the border. I thought that the whole thing was okay, fine. We'll do Ukraine separate.
Yeah, they were going to do that, but then the Republicans wouldn't vote for that. There was no motivation because they wouldn't vote for the border bill. Really? You're this fucking dumb about this? Holy shit. This was weeks ago, you dumb motherfucker. That was the idea. That's why Democrats came to the table with as many Republican concessions as possible, because they're like, yeah, we'll sign on to this border bill, but we want it attached to the Ukraine and Israel and Taiwan funding. And that was what was supposed to make it pass. That was what was supposed to... Are you out of your fucking mind? What the hell? They do this for a living. How do you not know this? What? That's amazing. To be that fucking disconnected? Jesus Christ.
But we have to tie it to the border. That was not the case?
No, so evidently Mike Johnson he's a kind of a sort of a separationist, and I think his thinking is we don't want these things to be all lumped together as if they are the same thing.
Oh, fuck you. That's not why it happened at all. They knew that their own party would scuttle the border bill, and they couldn't afford to have them do it. Jesus Christ.
Not that I disagree with his logic.
Well, you can't, because logically, the way he put stuff together is stuff.
In fact, if he said, "All right, I've got a Ukraine bill, I've got an Israel bill, I've got a border bill, all three ready to go," okay, and we're going to do them, boom, 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 one after the other.
Yeah, they did that, but without the border bill.
That's not unreasonable, because you don't want to feel because you have one position on the border, you're locked into a position on Ukraine.
But that's how Democrats
That is how Democrats work with the omnibus type of bill. So
sure.
I think
that's because not everybody gets what they want, and if you cut them apart, then you lose a bunch of voters, and especially if it's about bringing it to the floor in committee, you can kill things even though they would have a majority of support from ever getting to the floor.
I think
which is what happened to the border bill.
Johnson sees himself as not following the Democratic model, but the effect
except with the two giant, the minibuses
of it is he's bringing these two foreign aid bills to the exclusion of a border bill. And this is what has people annoyed. They're like, wait a minute, you have your priorities all mixed up. Why don't we do the border bill first? Then we'll consider helping other people, because let's secure our border before we secure Israel's border and Ukraine border.
They had a chance. There was already a bill.
Right.
No, not right. No, not right. Not even close to right. There was already a border bill. They voted against it. The idea was, oh shit, we'll just attach these funding bills to it. And the irony is, we ended up passing the funding bills for these other things, but the Republicans won't vote for the compromise bill that would pass the Senate in the House, or in the, and would be signed by the president, the border bill, because it would get signed and it would work.
Well, I saw his press conference, and he basically said, listen, I knew that I was going to come in here and it was going to be a war. He called it a war, with the Democrats, I guess. And he said, so I have to be able to get through it, and I have to be the commander and all of that. So
Moses, I have to walk on water. Sure.
I don't think he sees it quite that way. I think he sees it as,
oh, so he's a liar.
Listen, I was put in a leadership position so that I could get things done, right? Not squelch things, but get things done.
Yeah, which is totally like un-American. Like how I mean, how does MAGA even put up with this shit?
Unfortunately, what he doesn't realize, and most Republicans don't realize, and maybe the American people don't realize.
Yeah, they probably don't. We don't. I mean, I don't know anything about any of this. I don't know what's going on.
You cannot negotiate with Democrats.
Apparently, the very next day that turned out not to be true. You actually can. I know I see the green shirt, but it's striped, so I don't know that it will bleed through. But thank you.
It's impossible because
no, it is not.
Because they are all or nothing.
No, they aren't. What the fuck? What? All right, this woman has not. Does he not let her watch television? Is that the thing? Do they have this kind of? What the hell? Good Lord. I mean, it's amazing. She lives in the Upside Down. That's the only explanation. That's incredible. What are you? All right. I mean, it says a lot about them, I guess, that they just literally see the world in photo negative or something. Jesus Christ.
And they are usually very conniving.
Usually. Obviously, there's certain ones, if you know what I'm saying, that have a tendency to be very clever and conniving.
So, well, what this means is that
it means what it means is
getting things done in practice is bowing to their will. Now, yes. Mike Johnson may go, well, listen, they wanted, 90 and I only gave them 50. But if the net 50 is bad, then you are better off not getting things done than getting things done. So I think there's this kind of illusion that we've got to, quote, do something.
Yeah. What? Who does that? And I hope, I pray at some point that this philosophy that Dinesh puts his money where Debbie's mouth is, and that he makes a true, go of it. And that I think you're under the illusion, the mess, that that you have to keep producing content online. And that's an illusion. I don't think you actually have to do any. I mean, I don't even know why technically, and you can certainly argue why you have to even get out of the bed to use the bathroom. I would just, if I were you, well, I wouldn't be capable of having these kind of thoughts. So whatever. But I would say, just stay in bed and shit yourself. Why do you have to get anything done, including, I guess, eating or washing? There's this illusion. Why do we have to do stuff? You know what I mean? What the fuck? Yeah. Don't let the man push you around, the mess.
Mm-hmm. C.S. Lewis once said that if you're on the wrong road, progress means turning and going back where you came from.
Bye. I don't know what? Yes, you're obviously not helping. The Republican Party is in a terrible situation right now. Trump has lost. He's going to jail. So maybe it's your fault. So I would just pack up your show and stop doing videos. I think you're obviously not, because I got to tell you, since my show launched, Democrats have been doing all right. I got to say, I can't take credit for all of it, but a couple of the things I'm proud to have planted the seed on. So I mean, if I keep doing stuff, we're going to end up with high-speed rail in a bunch of different areas. Shit, if I talk long enough, we might get flying cars. And I'll promise to only use my powers for good, but if your show is clearly going down the wrong road. The Republican Party is collapsing. So you might want to, I don't know, crawl up your own ass at this point. Just
yeah,
That's the end of it. That was that was the tail end. That's all he had, ladies and gentlemen. That was it. Okay, now I know what you're thinking. How could anybody be dumber than that? Well, probably by being on the 5, I think. Is for the record. Now this is Tyrese, whatever, and he's on Gutfeld's show sometimes. He's filling in for Gutfeld, who is taking a vacation from failing at being funny, and so he's sitting in because there will be the same level of humor possible. You know, angry, sarcastic bitterness disguised as you know, in what they believe is the sort of vocal rhythms of comedy they have heard before. You know, the comedy equivalent of wearing, you know, cutting off somebody's skin and wearing it and going, I'm funny. No, they were funny. So this is Tyra. He goes, this could be the best thing for Trump. Now they're talking about the gag order. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think one of the best things could happen to Trump is if he shut the fuck up. You know how much good he could do himself if he just shut the fuck up? I'm serious. But he can't. He can't bring himself to. He can't shut the fuck up. Quality audio on 5. Yes.
All right, well, that was former President Donald Trump just moments ago saying.
Okay, hold on. That is, for whatever reason, that's playback speed was normal, but it's running slow, so I'm going to speed it up.
He is ready to testify after the stage got set. The 18 people.
No, he is not. He's bluffing.
Who will determine his fate have been seated in his hush money trial in New York.
His paying off a porn star that he splurted on while his wife was at home nursing their 5-month-old.
Arguments will begin this Monday. The big developments today, among them, the judge ruling that prosecutors will not have to give advance notice of the witness list to Trump's legal team because the former president cannot
knows them all personally.
Be trusted not to post about them. Team Trump will, however, get one name on Sunday night. Trump railing against the gag order imposed by the judge that
Shut the fuck up, ice cream head. Also, what the fuck what is that? Jesus Christ. He looks like a villain in a Buddy Holly movie.
It's what he can publicly say about witnesses. He says it's time to take the muzzle off.
They've taken away my constitutional rights to speak. And that
You are speaking right now. You do realize that.
Speaking to you.
No, he's actually speaking, and he's speaking to
I
them.
have a lot to say to you, and I'm not allowed to say it. And I'm the only one. Everyone else can say whatever they want about me. They can say anything they want.
Because they have to testify, you don't.
They can continue to make up lies and everything else. They lie.
Well, then, when they lie on the stand, your lawyer will tear them a new one.
They're real scum.
They're real scum. So you're not that sounds like a violation of the gag order, but
you know what? I'm not allowed to speak.
You just did.
And I want to be able to speak to the press and everybody else about it. So why am I gagged?
Because your attorneys would prefer it.
I'm not telling the truth. The judge has to take off this gag order.
But some in the liberal media don't care about fairness. It seems like all they want to see is the former president thrown in jail.
Put him in jail? At the same time, Joey, is that what you're saying? Why not? That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's what would happen to everybody else.
Jim, I mean, look, yes, I get he's a former president. How else are you going to maintain decorum? How else are you going to maintain respect?
Because he's
because he's not going to do it.
He's an ex-president. Yeah. But it's even more incumbent on the court in this process to hold Trump accountable. And I don't think fines are going to do it. I think he needs to sit in a cell. He should be put in a cell and contemplate his behavior.
But Stephen A. Smith has a message for them. He's putting Democrats on blast.
Not Stephen A. Smith.
And accusing them of using the courts against Trump.
Well, that's what somebody who lives in a bubble and thinks Twitter is a window would think.
That appears to be their strategy, but I'm here
to
tell you it's not working. It's not
his strategy.
Not working at all. And to be
is your strategy to be on Hannity?
Quite honest with you, I don't mind the fact that it's not working because I might not be a supporter of Donald Trump, but I want him to lose the right way. I want him to lose because you have better ideas and you make your case to the American people better than he does.
Well, that is happening at the same time. By the way, you do realize there's nothing stopping him from talking about his plans for his next term and what he would like. I mean, he's got a healthcare plan ready to go. I remember like 4 years ago, he was talking it was be ready in 2 weeks. So it's been ready 2 weeks shy of 4 years. Why didn't he talk about that? That sounds like a plan. Why wouldn't he talk about, I don't know, why he could have passed the infrastructure bill, but he just didn't feel like it? How about all the Chinese sanctions, not the ones just about where he could funnel money to farmers to try and win a lot more like rural votes, which he already had in mass because he's such a weakling. Why didn't he focus on the tech sanctions against the Chinese, other than the fact that his daughter wanted trademarks there and he's got businesses over there that he makes from the tech industry as well, which is aligned with the Chinese military?
All right, that was Stephen A. Smith. I mean, Jesse, does he have a point? I mean, this is a...
No. Hold on one second. This is a little low. Jesse, does he have a point?
Former
Let me guess. Jesse's going to go like, when does he not have a
president. Shouldn't he get a fair shake here? And has the media gone too far with just calling...
You're really asking me this? Oh my God, what a tee-up. This is the greatest tee-up I've ever had. Really? You're going to ask me if he deserves to be treated fairly?
To lock him up?
Brilliant move by Democrats. You're indicting this guy so many times, and then he can't talk about how unfair it is.
Sure he can. He just can't talk about the judge, the judge's family, the jurors, any of the court staff endangering their lives. Here's the thing. My question is, why can't he fight his battle about the case itself? You could shit on testimony without the person shitting on the person giving the testimony, right? Can't you just address the facts and win? Shouldn't it be easy? If there's no case, make that case. Right?
You're rigging the election.
Nope. He did that by committing these crimes. He was trying to rig the election with this particular case when it started, by the crime he committed around it.
And he says you're rigging the election, and he gets thrown in jail.
No, he said, I don't know if you've noticed, he's allowed to say they're rigging the election. No one's stopping him. That's not in the gag order. The gag order is the daughter of the judge looks like this, lives here, and she likes to go to this coffee shop, and here's a picture of her, and one of my followers who may have seen what one of my followers did at the FBI office in Cincinnati ought to do something about this. That's the concern. Nothing about the gag order stops him from arguing material elements of the case itself. Just not witness intimidation. Here's how you do it. You're accused of an affair. Happens in a hotel room. There are at least 30 ways you can prove you didn't have an affair without ever mentioning the person you are alleged to have had an affair with. I've never been in that hotel. I was somewhere else on that night. I've got 10 people that will tell you I was at this thing. It was a fundraiser. They saw me there. I don't even know what he's talking about as far as what was on the television that night. I've never even watched Shark Week. People around me know I never talk about that show. I was at home with my wife. We had a newborn. Ask the guy at the front desk. Everybody would recognize me. I could, if I walked past that guy, he would have seen me, right? You don't have to bring up the other person at all. You can say the system around this is unfair. I don't even think this should be a case because a person can't deal with a personal matter while they're doing this campaign at the same time. I think that's wholly unfair. That shouldn't happen to anybody. You can do that without attacking the judge, without attacking the judge's family, without attacking the jury, without attacking the prosecutor. Unless you're a fucking imbecile and a weakling. In that case, you only have one option.
Saying you're rigging this election. This is probably the best campaign strategy the Democrats have ever come up with. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't think it's working. Stephen A. is right. We send Johnny out everywhere. Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, young and old Americans alike. They've had it with Biden.
Yeah. It's weird that wherever you send him, he comes back with what you want to hear. Sounds about right.
Never met a Biden fan in my life.
Yes, you have. you sit next to Jessica every day. I think there's somebody else on the panel today, but yeah, you have. And by the way, I've met this dumb motherfucker long time ago. So, yeah, you have.
Through Johnny, and except my mother. And so this could be a landslide that nobody sees coming because.
Yeah, nobody's going to see it coming, even mostly because it doesn't happen.
Of how unfair this is. I would make them put me in jail. I would have a tweet about something maybe perhaps I said on the 5 or Jesse Watters primetime, and I would force them to throw me in jail if I were Donald Trump. The mugshot backfired. The indictments have been backfired.
No, they haven't.
Being a martyr in jail for maybe, what, a day, 24 hours? I think that would be
Jesse
good.
can't go to jail.
He can't go to jail?
Jesse can't.
Oh, I can't go to jail. No, I absolutely could not. But I would if I was running for president because it would probably help. Couldn't hurt. And
yeah, it would. It would hurt.
If they make him testify, do you think Donald Trump's going to testify? I don't know if he's going to testify. I would probably not testify and go to jail instead. That's what.
What? You'd probably not testify and go to jail instead. You don't have to. Does he think the Fifth Amendment protection works backwards?
I would do.
Harold, does Jesse have a point? I mean, this is starting to make it look like Democrats just don't like fairness.
Well, I push back totally on that notion about Democrats and Republicans. He's under indictment. He says he's innocent. I believe he's innocent until he's proven guilty. I would employ a different strategy if I was indicted. I would have my lawyers laying out my case, and I would be outdoors after a day of court saying, here's what happened, here's why, what happened today in court proved that. This president has a unique way of defending himself, a unique way of articulating points.
Yes, he waddles and farts.
Said, Jesse, and then when he was walking in, the press asked him the question. He said, I would testify, so we will see if the president, he has that right. He has the right not to testify. I think one of the things, in fairness to the guy you put up there on CNN, I had that up on one of my screens in my office earlier, maybe it was yesterday or today, and I thought what he was responding to was whether or not if the president violates the court's orders, would he be arrested? Not just arrest him. Maybe I misunderstood the way the point was being introduced. And I'm torn there. I don't know. I think if you don't, and I'd be interested in hearing Emily's take on this. If you have a set of rules in the court and a defendant or a party to a suit violates something that the court has laid down, and one of the penalties is after a while you get arrested. I don't know how you don't arrest them, because if you don't, then that means that you and I or Jesse or Tyrus or anyone, if we're in court ever, and I hope never to be indicted.
Yes, that would. Welcome to the Democratic way of looking at this. It's exactly why I could be a juror in this case and not be tainted by my beliefs, because I don't want to set precedent based on people going to jail for stuff they didn't do. I wouldn't want to participate in that, even if I didn't like the person that I was, that was in court that day.
And don't plan to be. That we would be able to use that as the Trump defense.
No, but this is a political show trial, Harold. This isn't like your regular felony or misdemeanor.
We're pals, brother, but that's not right. This is a trial.
It's a show trial.
Well, you can say he was indicted because of things you don't believe he should have been indicted about. And that could
he's
very well be
indicted
true.
because he's running for president against Joe Biden.
But let's be clear, though. This is not a show. It's a.
No, he is not. He's indicted because he tried to hide the payment to a porn star that he had an affair with from the voters during an election, and he connived. He had a conspiracy between him, Michael Cohen, and David Pecker to do just that around the election. That violates a federal law, but the state law within it was the concealment of this act that is a federal crime, and it's up to them to go after him whenever and if they decide to. But that doesn't make it less of a crime to participate in it on the state level. He broke the law. That's that.
Trial, and he
could have gotten it thrown out if that was the case.
And if he's found guilty in this trial, he can't say, I'm not going to be, if you sentence me, I'm not going to go to jail because it was a show trial.
Look, he won't be sentenced to prison because it's not a real case, Harold.
What the fuck does that mean? Jesse, what are you saying? He won't be sentenced to jail because it's not a real case. Holy shit. Like, what do you think's going to happen, dum-dum? What do you think? He was able to pay his bond on the civil case in Monopoly money then? You think it's all fantasy? Good Lord.
Someone without a criminal history. This is a white-collar situation. There's no way he's being sentenced to prison for.
Yeah. You know what? I'm sorry. We have Martha Stewart on the line. She would like a fuck you.
This.
He could
Well,
be.
regardless
Yeah.
what happens, he will be sentenced to prison for
Let me
this.
just finish my point. I don't know if you're right about that, but he could be sentenced.
As someone who's never passed the bar, I am right, Harold.
This is true, and neither have
You
I.
never took the bar, though, to be fair.
To be fair,
You took the bar. Let's just put that out there.
But to be fair, we
He's
know
innocent. He is innocent until proven guilty, and I look forward to hearing the case.
Well, we know where this is going next. We followed it minute by minute today. The jurors are in place. They have been sworn in. We know that the prosecution, as of Monday, it was confirmed today, they will be able to start making their case, Emily.
Right. And the question is sort of, well, will the defense be able to make their case? Because when you pose that hypothetical about that you would have your lawyers make the case for you and that if rules are set in place and you don't obey, then naturally incarceration is sort of the next step. But the question is sort of, well, what if the rules are unfair? What if they're...
What the fuck? If the rules are unfair, you have grounds for appeal, stupid. That's what. There is no impetus for, if a judge wants him to go to jail because he believes that the case is valid, there is no impetus for him to throw the case in that direction because it would give someone like that room to appeal. You might be able to pull this shit with somebody who's some broke motherfucker who's been in front of you 10 times for beating his wife, and then he finally kills her, and you're like, I'm not 100% sure that, that the case goes that way, but I'm going to give the prosecution the benefit of the doubt in this process because this motherfucker beat her within an inch of her life 3 times. And hit her a bunch of other times, and he's been in my court a bunch of times, and now she's fucking dead. So I might, emotionally, I won't be so quick on the jump to push back, because this broke motherfucker's not going to be able to come back around and get another bite at the apple. That would be the biggest fucking reach. But a guy like this could totally appeal the fuck out of it. So you have no reason to even give the appearance that you're being, partial to one side or the other.
totally rigged against you? What if the application of those rules are totally faulty? And by that,
yeah, what if? Yeah.
I mean, as Trump's defense has tried to, for example, subpoena Stormy Daniels this week, they said this is so that we can get all that information that is in that interestingly released documentary just in time for her to make a lot of money. Well, that was called witness intimidation and harassment. So the question remains, how can Trump's defense team adequately and accurately defend themselves when they're being blocked, they argue, from even assessing the information? How is it?
Okay. There's so much dumb here. Wait, hold on, let me back up. There we go. Let me try to get this again. The Independent. Stormy Daniels refused to take subpoena from Trump lawyers summoning her to testify in hush money trial. And this is, by the way, they tried to serve her with a subpoena and she refused to take the summons. This is what they're talking about, by the way. Trump's attorneys have claimed they tried to serve adult film star Stormy Daniels with a subpoena to testify in the former president's hush money trial, but she refused to take it. In a court filing, filed on Monday by Mr. Trump's legal team and obtained by the Associated Press, his attorney said that a process server had approached Miss Daniels as she arrived at a $3 bill nightclub in Brooklyn on the night of her screening of her new documentary. According to the documents, Miss Daniels refused to take the papers, and the process server, Dominic Delaporte, was forced to leave them at her feet. I stated she was served as I identified her and explained to her what the documents were. She did not acknowledge me and kept walking inside the venue, and she had no expression on her face. The subpoena reportedly relates to Ms. Daniels' documentary and asked for communications between her and her 2 potential hush money witnesses, Mr. Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen, and Playboy model Karen McDougal, who, like Ms. Daniels, also allegedly had an affair with the former president. It also asked for communications between the adult film star and E. Jean Carroll, which, by the way, I don't know why the fuck that's germane to any of this. All right. What are you saying? That he didn't have an affair with Stormy Daniels, but she could still describe his dick to E. Jean Carroll, and E. Jean Carroll didn't get raped by him, but she could describe his dick to Stormy Daniels? That's where they're like, yeah, small, mushroom, orange, gross. Yeah, nailed it. Miss Daniels' lawyer, Clark Brewster, labeled the request an unwarranted fishing expedition, said it didn't bear relevance to the hush money case. According to the letter to the judge obtained by the Associated Press, Mr. Brewster said the request appears calculated to cause harassment and or intimidation of a lay witness. Meanwhile, Mr. Trump's attorneys have claimed that Miss Daniels' documentary was plainly seeking to promote her brand and make money based on her status as a witness. No, she's not a witness. She was a participant. She's not a witness. She's going to witness to what she participated in, what she saw, and the money that she was given, and the process of it, but she's not somebody who was across the street she was, and she would argue, a victim in this situation. Mr. Trump is charged with 34 counts of falsifying business records related to payments given to Ms. Daniels in exchange for her silence about their 2006 affair and ahead of the 2016 presidential election. In her documentary, Ms. Daniels calls the feeling fucking terrified in the lead up to the 2016 election was actually very relieved at the prospect of keeping the affair quiet. She also felt safer in the fact that there would be a paper trail and money trail linking me to Donald Trump so that he could not have me killed. Ms. Daniels described her sexual encounter with Mr. Trump as consensual, but she says in Stormy she didn't want to go through with it. To this day, I blame myself and not forgive myself because I didn't shut his ass down in that moment. So maybe make him pause before he tried to do it with somebody else. The hardest part of all this is the feeling I'm partially responsible for every woman that could have come after me. Ms. Daniels streamed the documentary at the Brooklyn Bar at the end of March, just days before the original start of the hush money trial. Jury selection is still underway. So that's what that's in relation to. Just saying, just to clarify. This is, where are we? Yeah. So that's why it was intimidating a witness. It had nothing to do with anything, and they have all the information from the lead up.
That the defendant is gag ordered, but the star witness who has been convicted of perjury and worse, that he's let free to taint a possible jury. And let's talk about the impaneled jury. So here it took 3 days. Yes, sir.
Right, but here's the thing: if they've seen him speak, and then he comes into court and he lies under oath and he gets busted for it because it's provably a lie, then they can weigh that against what they've heard him say, and that might prejudice them against Trump being guilty. They might assume that because what he said in public has not matched up with what he says in the courtroom, or that he was confronted on cross-examination that he said this and this was really true in this particular instance. Then they would be more. I would guess the jury would tend to look more favorably on Trump than they should.
Here, after 8 years, these charges were brought. Jury
right. There was a 4-year pause where they couldn't be brought because he was president.
Impaneled after 3 days. Yeah. Interesting how it took 2 months to impanel Joker Tsarnaev's Boston Marathon bombing.
Yeah, that's because everybody saw the bombing. Not everybody saw the fucking Trump's, pitiful excuse for sex. Yeah, that was it. How dare you compare the Boston bombing, which happened in public, but the identity of the person was not known in public, but the bomb itself had an enormous impact on the community and the world. It was a giant terrorist action. And making sure that these guys go away for the long haul and not have people just automatically enraged because of what had happened. Nobody gave a rat fuck that he screwed Stormy Daniels or even this stuff. And just not knowing his name isn't an option, or knowing about it isn't the same. You can know all about it and have opinions both directions. Just look at Jesse.
You know how long it took to impanel Scott Peterson's trial? 4 months.
Yeah, because a woman was dead and they hadn't found her.
Night Stalker, pretty sure we knew he was guilty.
No, we didn't.
9 months. The list goes on. And yet here, 3 days. Trump's at trial. And then
it's a business white-collar crime trial. That's why. Again, the reason they took so long, you could argue, is that the longer it takes, the more they want to guarantee the guy goes to jail.
YPD officers at trial for getting punched. The list
you
goes
got to
on.
roll them sleeves up, okay? Forget the gag order. Keep it in the streets, because that's what's building him momentum. We're all paying attention. President Trump going to jail will be right up there with Martha Stewart. He will see from the inside, and then when he gets elected, he's going to have amazing prison reform. He's going to fix stuff. You know?
Bullshit. No, he's not. He's not going to realize how the people in prison have got it hard. Are you nuts? Seriously, that's what this guy thinks. That guy thinks that Trump does a couple of nights in jail and he's going to come away a changed man, realizing how hard they've got it in the cement condo, in the hooskow.
Saying he's not going to be like Jesse with delicate skin and good hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to go in there, he'll come out with some cornrows, and he will be excited. I'm telling you, this is the best thing for him, to fight.
Yeah, I agree. Go to jail. Great. Thanks, Tyrese. Yeah, yeah, good. Yeah, go to fucking jail. Yeah. Listen to him. Make them send you to jail. Be a complete asshole. Whatever the judge says, no matter how many breaks he gives you, keep breaking those rules and say to America, fuck the judicial system. They can't tell me to behave in court. I'm Donald Trump. You guys can go to fucking jail, but fuck you. And then end up in jail, and everybody will go, you know, you fuck around, find out.
Keep it in the public. If he's saying the deck is stacked against him and that's his mindset, then accept the fact that you're going to go to jail. Keep it out when you come walking out. Do it. Let them cuff you. Let them, because you know what? More American people identify with being, pardon my language on the five, screwed over by the system.
What? No, they don't. No, they don't. The people in the fucking villages aren't like, man, my wrist's still chapped from being cuffed again by the man. What are you talking about?
See somebody that this is modern day living martyrdom. He's going to be, and Stephen A., you gave us the word egregious.
This is idiotic.
This is egregious. And I don't agree with much Stephen A. on political stuff, but I agree on this. I'm willing to go out on national. Stephen A., let's take a bet. You're a Knicks fan. I'm a Celtic fan. If they meet in the finals, loser has to wear their other team's colors for a whole week. Keep it up, Stephen A. He's just like White Lightning. That's what we call ourselves when we were a tag team in wrestling. But Mr. President, keep it in the streets. And when you get in prison, use that time for amazing.
Yeah, to reflect. Yeah, that'll happen. Yeah, that's the big plan on the 5. The takeaway for the 5 today is that it's not going to be fair anyways, so fuck it. Why try? Just blow off everything the judge says, threaten his daughter, release the information, talk about the jurors, what they're, describe them, fucking doodle pictures of their faces and release them on Truth Social. Let them arrest you for trying to get the staff and the jury murdered by some psycho cult fan dickhead maggot. Great idea, Tyrese. That's a genius move. And that way, when they send you to jail, you can stay there for, I mean, they think it's only be a couple of nights. But if you really swing for the fences, it should be a good 30 fucking days. And as he's in jail longer and longer at his age, with his needs and all this shit, and Tyrese goes, hey man, just hang in there. You can go fucking visit him, and then you can fucking like talk to him on the phone, and you press your tits up against the fucking glass, and he can jack off into the little holes for you, and like, give me a Stormy. And yeah, it's a great idea. Brilliant. Normally I would not side with people from the 5. I think look at this magnanimity that's happening. He's saying, you know, that Stephen A. is the shit. They bridge this gap, right? And he and I are agreeing on something. Trump should just go to jail and stay there until people are convinced he'll be the next best president. Beats the shit out of campaigning.
Here I am like an idiot.
What the hell?
Prison reform. This is a win-win. Look what Martha Stewart did with her little prison time. She changed lives.
All right, first of all, how long? Wait, Martha Stewart. Yeah, give me 1 second. Yeah, Martha Stewart did 5 months. I agree. I think you're gonna let's just call it out. Hey Trump, you dumb motherfucker. Listen to this guy. Brilliant. But you can't let Martha Stewart do more time than you do. You can't have it so that, you know, that M Dog has got more time behind bars than you. There's no way you can be king of the fucking block that way. Yeah? You got to do 5 months in a day, man. That's what you got to shoot for it. Shit, and while you're in there, just maybe you'll like it. Maybe just stick around. Yeah, 6 months. You know what? The best thing is, get yourself thrown in jail right now and campaign from prison. Talk about historic. Oh, that'd be great. You could just write your speeches on toilet paper, and then you can just feed them out the fucking window, and people can read them with binoculars as they come down the wall of the fucking prison outside. It's fucking classic, man. And then when you win, you could give your acceptance speech as you crawl out of prison through a sewer pipe. I'm saying it'll work. Can we again? We end tonight on a lovely upbeat note, and I want to thank you guys for joining me and for all your support and your love and your Venmos and your Patreon and your it's just you guys are so great. Let me clarify that tonight should be a night of joy for all of us because not only is this the first day of Trump's trial, but it's going to go on interminably long. It's already exhausting, and it has barely started. So Trump is going to be miserable as fuck over the next couple of days. And Ukraine funding passed, Israel funding passed, Taiwan funding passed. The bills that would fund the government through the rest of the year have passed. There is no leverage that the Republicans genuinely have over Democrats between now and the election as of this moment. And Donald Trump has increasingly less leverage over his own party, and the only thing he will be able to do with these fucking blatherfests that he has out there is inspire and entertain us to laugh our asses off in a way, in a light joy that we haven't felt in quite a long time. And I remind you that he is not going to get reelected. He is not going to be president ever again. This election is his last election forever. And when the classified documents case comes around, he's going to be a two-time loser, and these assholes will have moved on. And Marge and some others, there'll be little stories about them visiting him and, talking to him at Mar-a-Lago about his potential for going to jail. And I will cover it because it'll be hilarious. But we can breathe deep right now. Just do me a favor right now. Just end the show this way. Take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath and just hold it. Exhale. That's good. One more time. In. See, he would fuck it up. He would fuck it up. Just, God damn it. We were being so relaxed, too. It's just so. This is why we can't have nice things. Thank you guys so much. Hit that like on your way out. Appreciate you guys so much. Share the show. Join us again tomorrow afternoon. I'll see you.
Even outside, it's packed.
The press wasn't that long ago.
I've been involved in the two greatest scams in American history. Action replays in magnified fortune. We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges. Free health care for illegal.
And I don't, I know some of these people, and I think they're quite frankly ridiculous.
Here I am like an idiot.
Where's Dick? Hi, Dick. Do we like Dick? Yes. What?
I like wood.
Great to be with you, Dick.
Deeper and longer.
What?
I felt really good almost after taking it.
Oh, yeah, that's normal.
I like wood.
I had to beat off.
They don't like the gas. I was a private business people. Winston Churchill stood on the rooftops in London, very calm, making speeches. Winston Churchill. He meant explosive in terms of fire. This isn't the let's read the book school. Michigan gave us Votang.
I don't know. I'm not good with that.
You could say it's a back door, but I call it a smart door.
Deeper and longer.
Purge the anti-Semitism and pro-terrorism. What you doing?
asshole.
PP2.
What? There goes GG. There goes GG.
He can do things with his tongue you wouldn't believe it.
There goes GG.
De-engineering.
I agree. I'm a dope.
And I don't, I know some of these people, and I think they're quite frankly ridiculous.
I agree. I'm a dope.
Here I am like an idiot.
Christopher Columbus. Christopher. Computer board. Computer board. You'll be able to get another good job. Free health care for illegal. Look,